Kate shared with me that a woman came to her on 3 successive elections and said, my husband has died, but you continue to send him a ballot. And through their investigation, they realized the gentleman wasn't in fact dead, and he said, please don't tell my wife. Now, the way you curtail those.
Oh, all right. Well, shout out to Spectrum. Oh my God.
Evil bastards.
All right, so we're back. Rubbish guy broke the stream. Rubbish. We got sent to the gulags. That's what the kids keep saying now. We got sent to the gulags.
Ridiculous. Okay, so Mark is back. So I would just... Are you doing the intro again?
Yep.
I would just start that intro to get...
Just because Jambi's here.
Everybody's like coming back, so...
Just because Jambi's here, we're going to do the intro again.
Just for you, Jambi.
Shout out to VC. VC forever. We shall return.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Yo. This is song 1. You didn't even...
Yes.
Do we have a thumbnail for this? Do we have a thumbnail for the stream? We don't have the text thing. We don't have anything for the big homie. This is a horrible way to treat DJ Mark.
Okay, so we are about to go into Alice in Chains' Damn That River. This is the DJ stream, as Vin just said, for Mark, who picked a number of songs for this reason. He said he ended up going with a theme of lesser-known gems from popular 90s bands. He said, I really enjoyed when you guys did Grunge Week, and these are the bands that I listened to when I first really got into my own music in middle school. I don't think you've done reactions for any of these, but let me know if you have. And
I don't think we have, right? We haven't done any.
I don't think so.
Ones.
Yep.
Okay.
So Alice in Chains, Damn That River is our first one, and inshallah by the end of this, I will also have a thumbnail for this awesome stream.
Excelente. And shout out to everybody who's hanging out with us right now, keeping us company live. And you, dear listener, are looking at it like a regular person instead of being with us. But that's your problem. All right, guys.
You made that decision.
You made that decision. We are deciding to listen to Alice in Chains' Damn That River, which is a better decision than your decision not to hang out with us in the live stream. Let's go. that up. No! No!
I really feel like there's a problem with an ending right there.
Yeah, what the hell?
But you know what? Wasn't it all the songs in Grunge Week were very short? Like, isn't that one of the staples of the Grunge Week songs?
Well, they were short to us, relatively speaking, because we had just got done, like, we had like 3 or 4 prog songs, like, in a row that we were covering. Mm-hmm. And, the prog songs are like 9, 10, 11 minutes. And then we switched to Grunge Week.
Yeah.
And then, but they were the grunge hits. Mm-hmm. So all the things that you hear on the radio are going to be 3.5, 4 minutes. So.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, somebody said something about the guitarist for this band. It was Seven Dusted. He said this dude's superpower is that he writes riffs that are not really that complex, but they're awesome. And
it was heavy and it kind of...
Yeah, and then another guy said, which I really agreed with, that the guitarist is more like... they're more like a, like metal. Like this riff was like more like a metal type, hard rock type riff.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
a
immediately recognizable grunge fuzz type sound. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, I definitely agree. And it was funny too, because I remember when we went to we saw them live with Korn, Alice in Chains, and I remember like I'm like, look at his hands, like the riffage was so simple, but like these were classic songs, and it was moving like thousands of people. It's not.
Wasn't that the one where everybody had their?
Oh yeah, well they used the cell phones.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think like if you gotta. We were talking to an artist in an interview one time, and, we were talking offline, so don't ask me any questions. But basically, they had just, they had toured with a band, and, there was conflict, the main stage band versus them or whatever. But, one of the issues was that the guitarist in their band is really, really good. And he's better than he's demonstrably better than the artist in the other band. Mm-hmm. And so they were going on before the main stage band. So there's a lot of conflict and tension and all the rest of it. And, at the end of the day, we were talking, and the guy basically said, look, their skill and their scale work, but can you move a group of people? Mm-hmm. That's the issue. Yep. Can you move a group of people with your music?
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be the most complex thing or whatever. It's your goal as a musician is to get people moving.
Yep.
So, like, that's what I love about it. I love that type of thing. And, it's some people can do it well, some people can't. Like, I was just listening to a Hatebreed song a couple hours ago, and the riff was so simple. It was like they took about 2 minutes to learn that to do that riff. There's a lot of times when you're warming up and you just play stuff and it's like, oh, well, okay, that sounds good. So anyway, it's just the thing I feel like this band, I feel like Alice in Chains have mastered that.
Oh yeah.
Like, because we've heard a pretty good selection.
Crowd, the crowd was right in there with them for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It was I think that there's some times where you can stir up the energy of the crowd, and then there are other times where you stir up the emotion and the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
And they seem to captivate the crowd in that way. So when I was growing up, we didn't do the music thing. But I did know that my uncle was in a band, and my father did the lights for that band. And my father would say, your uncle could move a crowd. He said there are some artists that get up and they just can't just get that crowd moving. But he said your uncle always had a good control of the crowd, like everybody just got into it. They were a small band, and they were, relatively unknown at the beginning. Of course, in our area, they got to become more well-known, but at the beginning, they weren't well-known. But if you are not well-known and you can move a crowd, that's a crazy feat,
Yeah.
So you have to be really good for that. So that is something that I've known, even though we weren't in the music scene and we didn't listen to concerts and all that stuff. I did know that an artist that can move the crowd is A1. So, and you can see it, like there's sometimes where we've been watching videos and they're like live shows and we're like, look at that crowd. And sometimes though, I don't understand why the crowd is standing there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes doesn't it seem like, what is wrong with these people? Like they're not moving at all. And the band is good.
Yeah, I don't understand people sometimes. There was a band that we had reviewed. It was a live show.
Just recently did it, yeah.
And it was, I think it was like a death metal band.
Yes.
And the band was rocking, and the rhythm was crazy. They didn't have good sound, but the rhythm was crazy. It was enough.
People just standing there.
All right, so what do you think he's talking about? I broke you in the canyon, I drowned you in the lake.
I don't know.
You, a snake that I would trample, only thing I'd not embrace. People on the side were saying that there was like a fight.
It reminded me of somebody that was jealous of him.
It was Acid Bath was the band that we had looked at. That's right. Yeah, people were saying that like they were fighting each other and all that stuff.
Ooh.
Like the band members. Like this song was about a fight within the band. Like a literal physical altercation is what people were saying.
Oh,
They
wow.
were saying that somebody. Okay,
Well,
so
I
Sean
pushed and then you stumbled. I kicked you in the face. You stared at me so hollow.
Yeah.
Got to keep that killing pace.
Sean said his drummer.
I
This
wonder
song
what-
is about the drummer and the guitarist getting into a fight. There it is.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. Yes,
Wow.
Corey. And the song that we had listened to was Dr. Seuss's Dead, and nobody was moving, and it was a heavy freaking song, in my opinion. Okay, so this is about a fight between the guitarist and the drummer. Holy moly. What's up, Sean? Okay, so I broke you in the canyon, I drowned you in the lake. You a snake that I would trample, only thing I'd not embrace. Oh, you couldn't dam that river, and maybe I don't give a damn anyway, so you couldn't dam that river, and it washed me so far away. Okay, so then dam that river means to shut up, stop talking.
Oh.
Right?
You couldn't get. Oh, okay. You couldn't
you couldn't
dam that
shut
river.
the hell up, so now, now we gotta square up. Mm-hmm. I was watching a video one time with Lamb of God, and the singer and the guitarist got into a fight. Like it was a literal fist fight. And then the bassist was like, yo, I don't want to see my band fight, blah, blah, blah. But the singer was drunk. And the guitarist, I guess the singer had a drinking problem. Randy, right? I think his name is Randy.
I think so.
So the singer is drunk. And you could just look at the guitarist's face. I think his name is Mark. You could just look at his face and you could tell that he'd reached his limit.
Yep, that was it.
He'd reached his limit. So they squared up, and like the bassist was trying, but as a dude, like when your boys are fighting, like there comes a point when it's like there's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing you can do, and you're now about to get, you know what I'm saying? And you just gotta let go some of that pent up whatever. And so the singer ended up losing the fight. I mean, he was inebriated. He was drunk. But Mark got him with a good... He basically slammed him and, two-pieced him, ground and pound, and he knocked him the fuck out. But, what happens with bands, man? Jonathan... I think there's a song... I forgot the name of the song. Remember that song we did where he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was about a fight with the band. Everybody was making...
I don't see
happens.
how it can't happen. You're dealing with people... like there is a sense that, well, we talk about this within a marriage, within anything that you're doing, you have a mission and a goal, something that you're trying to accomplish, and that's the only way that people can actually make stuff work.
Yeah.
Because everybody's annoying in different ways and everybody hurts people in different ways, so your goal is what keeps you on the track of where you're supposed to be. So if you get out of sync with each other, you can you get fixed back up by saying, okay, well, there's our goal, let's head toward it. And so obviously with a band, the same thing's going to happen. You guys are going to have fights. I think that when people don't have adequate sleep, food is not good, living on the road, all those things, like, you know how you said, like, exhaustion makes cowards of us all? Like,
yeah.
When you're living the rock star lifestyle, it has got to be a really taxing lifestyle. So you're already, like, taxed. And then, like, somebody just keeps grating on you, and their behavior is making it more taxing on you. And like, how can you not flip it?
And your only refuge is work.
Right.
This is the hour and a half you're on stage. Hey, y'all, been watching you for almost a year. Whenever I stumble on a vid, I must watch it. Just subbed. Hope you don't mind if I join in. Grunge is my jam. No. Welcome, Tina. And Tina, here's a special greeting. R.I.P. ears. Yeah, back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, man, like, yeah, I think you're completely right. You're on the tour bus, all that shit. Like, it happens with me and you. It happens with me and you. There've been so many videos where, like, you know, we just had a fight and then we got to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We got people. So
you probably, like, there are some people that know. Remember Pony, she always said that she could tell. I think it's, you know, it's obvious. You'll probably catch, like, some sneaky slide-in comment from one of us or a look from Vin or...
Well, one of my, yeah, and I always get a homie that, like, will text me, like, yo, man, you good, blah, blah, blah. Like, I tackled my lead singer on stage in a band in my early 20s. He got mad because my 3-year-old son was correcting him on his lyrics, so I had to take him down after too many comments. Yeah, bro. But, you know, it's a weird thing with dudes. Like, this is one of the main differences between men and women, I think. Because dudes will, like, snip at each other back and forth, and then there is a certain line that gets crossed, and then it's like, okay, put your hands up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, boom, okay, we'll do that, and then it's over. Mm-hmm. And then we just, you know, it's like, all right, whatever, keep it moving. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me that girls, like, you guys will just, obviously it doesn't get physical most of the time, but it just seems like girls will just do it for all perpetuity. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it goes deeper. It's not deeper, but, like, it's unforgivable, I think, a lot of times for us. You crossed me and that's it, and so now you're over there. But I kind of feel like a lot of times that girls are already, like, sniping at each other.
Yeah.
And there's always, like, kind of like
competition.
This competition that's already going on anyway, and you just created a reason for it to take it to the next level. So,
yeah, man, like, you know, my love-hate relationship with violence is well documented. And, you know, I don't, you know, violence is always bad and it should always be avoided. That's what I believe. But it's like that time we're watching that basketball game. And, you know, it got more and more intense because it was getting closer and closer. And there were two guys that were going at you, yelling at each other, getting each other's faces, shoving each other. And you were looking at me and I was like, nah, they're good, man. They love each other. They're good. Mm-hmm. And you were like, and then after the game, they were good. But there were times on the court, man, where I would break stuff up. But there were one or two times every so often where I knew it didn't matter what I was doing. Like, they were not going to let it go. Mm-hmm. So, you know, oh, you couldn't dam that river. Maybe I don't give a damn anyway. You piss upon my candle.
He said, I burned the place around you. I hit you with a rake. You piss upon my candle, so proving you're a fake.
I'm assuming that's a very vulgar way of saying, like, you're a downer.
Yeah.
You piss upon my candle.
Well,
like,
your candle
you're always
is
like,
also like
expunging the light. Like, the fire, my creative energy, you're just completely, like, destroying all of it.
Yeah, or he's also saying, like, look, I'm the reason people come and you are a negative in that.
Well, it's if the singer was saying that, probably, but the singer is speaking for the guitarist and the drummer.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but that's one of the things that happens a lot in bands this is one of the things I always ask, band people.
Wow,
and it
washed me so far. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I always ask them offline. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I love it when the interviews finish.
Yeah.
Because I know you're about to ask something.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, how does that work? Because like, like in our band, it's like, okay, I had this song and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I want. Mm-hmm. And so people are like, oh, okay, well, what about this, and that? I'm like, nah, man, no. Mm-hmm. But there are other things where I'm like, oh, yeah, that's better than what I did. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had basically complete control about what happened with that song. Mm-hmm. Whereas, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but that's like a one-off thing. Obviously, like if we were like touring and making albums together, we could never run the band like that, where one person just says, no, I want this, like, you have to compromise with those decisions. But when
I think it depends on the band. I'm not sure, but it doesn't look to me. It looks to me like Danny Filth calls the shots in his band. I could be wrong, but it just looks like from what I saw when we were back there and just the different things that I've seen, and I haven't seen a lot. I'm just saying it just looks like he calls the shots for his band. So I think that different bands run their band differently. I think that it can work.
Cradle of Filth, is
as long as people have an understanding. Like,
well, I agree. Cradle of Filth is. I feel like everybody in that band has cycled out except for Danny. Mm-hmm. So
because it's his band.
It's his band.
Yep.
But with me, I don't have the prowess to say this is my band, because
no, you don't. If I did, I would.
Yeah, it's because you're very good at what you do. I'm the weakest musician in the band, so I can't go around and say, oh, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, and then tomorrow Peter can come up with something that blows everything out of the water, or you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I agree. It depends on the nature of the band, but this is not one of those bands. Alice in Chains is not like, this is my band type of thing. So so I was asked that question, and guys are, when they don't know me, they'll initially be like, oh, and then afterwards like, fuck this guy. That shit is fun. And no, I'm not talking about my closest friend of bands or whatever. I'm not even gonna drop his name because I'm not trying to do that. And then here's Ant Vin comparing his band to Cradle of Filth. It's like literally the opposite of what I said.
That's all right, Ant. I think you're new here, so. So yeah, I mean that's kind of, this part I thought was a little bit sad though. So I think that.
Oh, okay. So Jerry is actually the leader of the band. So your thing about, hey, I'm the real star here, you're pissing on my candle, might still be in play. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So,
what's up, Lynette? Good to see you.
I kind of think that the two different ways of running a band, I don't necessarily think that it comes down to your level of excellence. I think it comes down to the way that you run things. And I run things where I like to, the way that I work best is if I'm leading and I'm telling everybody else, okay, what everybody's going to be doing. You don't lead that way. You lead by letting everybody else kind of rise to their own potential, and everybody works together. So,
well, I don't let them do anything.
See, even the way he just said that, right?
But like I'm not letting them. I mean, like Jay's got skills, Peter has skills, the other guy has skills,
but their skills,
you have skills.
But the skills don't mean a whole lot if you don't open it up to say you can bring your stuff to the table.
Yeah, I think those are always the assumptions with the band. I think the standard way that a band works is that, everybody kind of does their thing and then they bring it to the table, and then you talk about it, and something makes the cutting floor and something doesn't. Like I just listened to the first iteration of the guitar work of our song, and there were elements that are in the final cut, but it's radically different. So yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, it's a lot of like trying to find ways to get along and all that, and it just must be really, really hard, man. Like you're working on something all night, and then somebody says, Because sometimes you can play yourself. You can play yourself into believing.
Do well with that.
You can play yourself into believing that something that's like mediocre is good. You know, it's like when you listen to bands and it's like, oh, you know, I didn't like that at first, but after the 9,000th listen, it sounds better. Yeah. And you can do that. So like you're playing and you have like a good idea, but it's really not that good. And so you work on it to like rationalize it to yourself, and then you bring it to band practice, and dudes are looking at you like, bro, this is not gonna work. That's hard. So I can see
oh my gosh,
it's mind-boggling to me that these bands stay together for all these years, because it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think that, you know, if a band I'll use the word lets. This is my perspective. I am not in like, I mean, I'm in Vinny's band, but it's not like anything like super official, and I've just barely been in it. But like, from my perspective, it seems like if you have a band where everybody is able to like, so let's say that the vocalist comes up with like the skeleton of the song, and then the drummer adds in his drumming. Like, you didn't tell our drummer what type of drums you wanted in there. You gave him what we had, and he put it in, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy's
so
he's a seasoned musician.
Well, yeah, like anybody in these big bands would be a seasoned musician that would be able to do that. So I think that there are some bands that say, here's the stuff, and everybody is able to put in their expertise. And then I think that there are other bands where the main guy has the idea of what the song is going to be, and he's going to tell you what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that those type of bands, it's harder for people to stay because they're a musician, because they have their own creative side. And it's hard to stay in a place where you can't exercise your creativity, where you're just, you know, doing what the other guy's idea is. So,
yeah, and that's why, you know, you see guys do side projects and stuff. They do side projects where
so they can get that out of their system.
They can get it out of their system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's Jamie. Look at Jamie. Jamie. No. Vin, you could play yourself into believing. Is Vin talking about religion? So this guy, anytime something comes up about God or something, he's so sensitive, he always gets triggered. But then he just brought up religion just now.
Well, while we're on the topic, Jambi.
No, Jambi, I don't have to play myself into believing in God, but you still haven't explained to me how complex machines with assembly lines and such appear out of nowhere. That sounds very magical to me, and you haven't explained it to me yet, so I'd like to know. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Jambi's going to call in one day and explain that to us, inshallah.
When he's not working. Okay, so...
What do you give the song?
Stop it.
Get me out of this review. Get me out of this review.
8.7 for me.
What? An 8? No, you're wrong. I really like this song, actually, because I like the riff. The riff, you know, like, Dimebag is the best at this. Rest in peace to the homie. Dimebag is the greatest at this, but the riff really like made the song for me here, and it's very strange because Alice in Chains has that singer Lane has such a unique voice, and he manipulates it so well. Most of the time it's that, but this time, man, that riff just drove it. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to give you a 9.849.
Whoa, okay.
Alice in Chains, Damn That River. Holy smokes. DJ Mark coming in strong on the first song. We have 5 more to go. But you common people, unfortunately, will have to watch them individually. We're here to fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny. Then out.
Sorry, out.
The moral of the story is sometimes you just need to give your good friends a 2-piece and a biscuit. You heard? He who has an ear, let him hear. Been out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit, Mark. Okay. Hardcore first songs.
All right. So the next one is this one.
Look at Jimmy. He's so sensitive. These guys taking the piss because I have priority to work over Vin.
Look at the face. Look at the look.
I know he's hurt. Jambi. You poked the bear, bro. You hit the wasp nest.
That's you.
If we're just joking around, if like we're joking back and forth, man, let's joke back. This is the same thing I said to you in the email, bro. Like, look, man, like, we're having fun, bro. Like, you said something about my religion. Okay, I responded back. We're having fun. But you can't, like, say stuff like that about stuff that is really important, like religion, and then catch feelings. You can't do that.
This nasty water out of here. It smells so horrible.
Like, you don't see Ben Webb doing that, bro. Like, Ben Webb, you know, he says what he says, and then everybody jumps on him. You don't see him playing victim. Come on, man. We having fun, bro. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, man. But, I mean, let's, you know, if we're going back and forth, let's go back and forth. Golly. If it isn't Ben Webb, it'll be Jambi. Yeah, but the difference is Ben will just be like, you know, he'll make up some horrible, you know, diss or something like that, and we'll all laugh it off. But, you know, don't do that, man. Come on, bro. You know I love you, Jamie. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, man. Come on, bro. Let's chill. Well, BC, religion might not be important to you, but it's important to me. But that's besides the fact.
Wait, why? What did you say?
When have I said something to claim victim? Oh my goodness. Yes, we did one song. We're about to do another one.
Okay, look, BC, don't take this the wrong way. But.
Uh-oh. Anytime I hear you say that.
Religion is important to us, and this is our channel.
Oh, no, I added the drum roll thing, I think.
Oh, you did?
I did. Hold on. Did I? Yeah, that's the drum roll, right? There you go, Jimmy.
Our channel, buddy.
It's our channel, bitch. Fuck out of here.
Okay.
All right. Second song is on the way.
The first song that we just got done was Alice in Chains' "Damn That River," and we
There's
have
a song
Soundgarden
called
on the way.
There's a song called "Sex Tape" by Deftones. SubhanAllah. Yo, you see that girl right there in the thing?
Yeah.
That's Daria.
Okay.
There used to be this show on MTV called Daria. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love that show. You have no idea.
Oh, really?
It's such a cool show. Shout out to Delaney. Delaney said something about her age or something like that yesterday.
Yeah.
She's like 16, 17. Well, Dorian assumed that she was dissing him. So he's like, oh gosh, here comes the ad hominem, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, Delaney's cool. Like, she would just... I'll show you that clip, too.
Okay. All right, let's go into the next one. Mark, you ready?
The first song was "Damn That River." Damn That River. The second song is what now?
The second one is Soundgarden, "Slaves and Bulldozers."
Ooh,
and while
Soundgarden.
you're doing that, I am going
So wait
to...
a second. Is this the... Somebody tell me, is this the anniversary of Chris Cornell dying? Or somebody tell me that in the comments while I look for this song. What's the name of the song again?
If you can just pull up Trello and get that for yourself so I can make this thumbnail, that would be awesome.
See, this is the stuff that's annoying.
What?
Soundgarden, "Slaves and Bulldozers."
Yeah,
we got the next one.
It was the meeting, honey.
What
And
meeting?
The meeting that I had earlier, it went all into my time, so I wasn't able to be prepared.
Did you get any of that editing done for that big giant project we got?
Nope. And when you see what happened in the meeting, you will understand why.
Oh, did you record it?
No, but I will explain it to you.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did it end well?
Nope, because we didn't get to finish.
The meeting didn't end. Are we gonna call her back after we're done working?
That's a possibility. Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Holy smokes.
Or meet tomorrow or something, because...
It would have been Chris Cornell's 57th birthday today. Damn.
It's sad.
All right. You know what? I'm not even going to be sad today, bro. I'm not. I refuse. I'm going to celebrate the hell out of these people, man. Fuck this shit. I'm not going to be sad. I'm too sad all the time. It's ridiculous. I'm just going to enjoy these people. It's also Stone Gossard of Pearl. What'd you say?
Look at this thing.
That's what he said?
Yeah, that's his little logo thing.
I cannot wait. Hurry up and do that shit, bro. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to post that thing. Don't piss on my gate.
Ew.
Piss is kind of a gross word, huh?
It really is.
It's really uncouth.
I really don't like it. You know, it was funny. So, I knew the chair was coming.
Yeah.
So I was
shout out to Mike Franco for my chair. Shout out to Mike Franco for my chair.
I sent the kids I sent you out of the car and told the kids, hold back because I have something to tell you. Well, Johan thought that I was going to be telling them, I don't know, probably some project that they had to do or something. And so he was like, well, I really got to take a piss. And I hate that. I said, oh, okay, well, I won't tell you the surprise. Go ahead and go inside. And he said, well, no, I said, no, you said that you have to go ahead and go in. No, I can wait. Because once I said it was a surprise.
What?
Uh-oh, what happened?
Is that true, Padawam?
Can you read it out loud so...
No.
Oh.
No. I'm glad you liked it. What do you mean I liked it? What do you mean, bro? It's a lifesaver. And obviously it was a little bit, little bit extra special because you sent it. I'm not trying to weird you out, but, it's a little bit more meaningful to me because it came from you. But don't be weird. I'm just saying. All right. Oh, okay. That's better. Oh, Amelia with the slang. Slaves and bulldozers is filthy. Really shows off Chris's range. Filthy is good in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. So she just moved. Mary. Chris's range. Filthy is good.
Yeah. Ah.
Okay. Good. So now I'm even more happy. Okay. So Daria didn't do herself in. She just moved. Excellent.
All right. Ready? So the thumbnail is up. You can check it out. Mark.
Is it?
Yeah, it's already up there.
Okay, good. Good. All right, guys, you know the deal. Guys. We are about to do another song for you. All right, guys, we shall return.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. It's time. Buy our merch. Okay, so we are... Take a drink every time Sorry touches our face. You are going to be very, very drunk if you do that. So...
If she will, tell her Sooner rather than later, please.
The next song on our list, babe, are you good?
Yep.
Okay. So the next song on our list tonight that we are doing is Soundgarden, Slaves and Bulldogs. This is
Bulldozers.
Oh, bulldozers.
Slaves and bulldozers.
Slaves and bulldozers. So we actually have a DJ tonight. His name is Mark, and he has picked a whole lineup of songs from the 90s for us to enjoy. So
Yes.
it's kind of like a little mini grunge night.
And I need you. Did you send me the pic of Mark's icon?
Oh, I can send that to you.
Send that to me, por favor. Okay,
Well,
guys.
it's in the email.
Slaves and Bulldogs, ladies and gents, from the band Soundgarden. By the way, this is Chris Cornell's
It's unplugged.
57th birth. What's unplugged?
That got dark, and this is not charging anymore.
Yep, I know. We're good. Today would have been Chris Cornell's 57th birthday, so we got to make sure that this one gets released tomorrow.
Okay.
And this is also the anniversary, I think, of the death of Chester Bennington. So, Radiallahu anhu to him, or may God have mercy on him, or rest in peace.
Okay.
To both of these brothers, July 20th, 2017. Yeah, so Chris Cornell's birthday and Chester's transition day. But you know what? I said to the guys in the chat, I'm just gonna enjoy, do my best to just enjoy the song, and you know, unbelievable stuff. All right, guys, here we go. Slaves and Bulldozers, Soundgarden. Let's go. Oh, that riff, that bass riff is hard. Whoa! Vocals by Chris Cornell. We know.
Wow.
Shout out to Chris Cornell.
Yep.
Holy
Apparently,
moly.
this was the last one before he passed away.
What? Really? That's
Yeah.
1991.
In addition to being one of the band's most iconic songs nowadays, the song is also known within fans for being the last song played by Soundgarden before the legendary Chris Cornell
it's
passed
the last
away.
song they played as a band.
What did I say?
So I mean, it came out in 91, and then it's the last song they played. Somebody said like this song shows off Chris's vocal range.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Amelia said it. AC, you were completely right. Holy shit.
Yep.
This song, again, this is the second song in a row. First of all, shout out to DJ DJ Mark. These people, like, honestly, real shit. I haven't heard one whack DJ stream yet. But
true.
But the genius of the people that do this is like, I don't know if they do it on purpose, but there's always like some kind of theme or something like that.
Yes. Are you looking for his picture?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to go to my secret email.
Just send it to me.
It's right there. It's gonna be faster than. Yeah.
But yeah, like that's the craziest thing to me, bro. Is like the way these people are choosing songs. But
It sounds like this person's at the end of their rope again.
No, I know. But like the range.
Oh my gosh.
And then the bass, it was cool because it started off with that bass and it had that real like grimy grumbling sound, like very brooding, like something. But it's like,
Yep.
that shit is hard, bro. Like it's really, really hard. Like
it had a good sound to it.
Yeah,
and
then
there was
it
some
had
good headbanging parts in there.
Yeah, and again, another very simple riff that you play with two fingers. Ta-dum, ta-dum. That's all they're doing. And I think it says, I accept your challenge, Vin, in all Tom McDonald stream. Okay, DJ Ant, we'll do it. If you want to do a Tom McDonald stream, we'll do it. But that we'll do it. Yeah, so it's just like that brooding, that which I think Korn perfected that, like taking the simple riff and then just like writing it and doing all types of different things. But like this is like prototypical of, and that riff, that riff has been played like 8 trillion times in every band on the planet. But again, the more I listen to this stuff, the more I realize it's not necessarily about coming up with a progression nobody's heard of. But when you look at the drummer, and the other thing too, somebody said that the bassist was underrated. That bassist is like, he's a bad man. Like the way that they set that whole thing up, the rhythm section, the way the drums and the bass were playing together.
Yeah, that's true.
That was hard as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
And then you put his voice over it, man. Forget it. Forget it.
Yeah, you layer all that stuff, it's over. Yeah, it had a very good sound to it. I like that chunky. Yes. You know, what does Ben call it? Chug-a-lug?
Yeah, chugga 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 chugga.
I love it though. I love that stuff. Did I misunderstand it? Is it kind of sounds like somebody who's gotten to the end of themselves, like they're sick of dealing with something with somebody else? Yeah,
I just automatically assumed that it was where's the picture, by the way?
Are you in my secret email?
Yep, there it is right there.
Holy moly. Oh, that's because last story just emailed me. Okay, so it's in here.
All right. So,
it's at the bottom.
What did you think the song was about? I thought it was about the music industry.
Oh, and it could be. I just knew it was somebody coming to the end of themselves, and like every word I said is what I mean. That reminded me of you, because we'll have these discussions, and I'll be like, oh, I don't know.
What did you really mean by that?
Yeah, I always feel like there's some like hidden message behind what he's saying, and he's like, "Is that what I said though? Just take what I said." And so that's kind of what it reminded me of. And then this part, everything I gave is what I need. So a long time ago, I had read that book, The 5 Love Languages. And it has different ways that people receive love. Oh, how cute! Oh,
Hey, little buddy.
poke. It was like the Pillsbury thing, you know,
That's
like.
that's DJ Mark, y'all.
Yep.
That's DJ Mark. All right, go ahead.
So in this book, it basically is talking about like how you kind of like work through it and then you realize like what type of love language you have, like how you give love to people and how you want love given to you. And people only like they receive certain types of love, which are their main love languages. And so I learned from that book that a lot of times what people will do is, so for instance, when I have a problem and Vin listens to everything that I have to say about it, that's super important to me. I want to talk through it all, maybe even talk through it 3 times, and I want lots of hugs. Like that's like A1 for me. I'm very big on hugs. So when Vin is feeling in a certain type of space, I want to just hug him because he looks like he's having a hard time. Now when Vin is in that space, he doesn't want to be hugged. And when Vin has a problem, he doesn't want to talk about it, but I want him to talk about it. So I had to learn to receive love the way that I do, but not try to give love the way that I want to receive it. So this one said, everything I gave is what I need. So that kind of reminded me of that idea that you don't just give, hey, take a drink. I just touched my face again.
What?
Somebody was like, take
You
a
have
drink
you have some inside joke with these people that
Yeah.
I'm not familiar
They're
with?
like, take a drink every time Sori touches her face, which I touch my face all the time. By all rights, I should be covered in acne. But anyway, so that's what that part reminded me of. And you can take it from there. Bleed your heart out, it said.
Yeah, I just took this as a shot against the music industry.
Man, the music industry must have been pretty terrible because everybody's saying it.
Well, I just think it's the artists, you have such a romantic view of art and music and what you're gonna do and your dreams and all this, and then the music industry comes in and it's worse than you thought. Mm-hmm. But so buying lies and stealing jokes is a very interesting line. Well, I'll get to it in a second. Every word I said is what I mean. I took that to be him talking about he's not going to be a sellout with his stuff. Mm-hmm. He's going to mean what he says what he means.
Okay.
And I'm dealing this right now with a fellow YouTuber, and I'm not going to mention who she or he is, but. Mm-hmm. There's enough statistical data that YouTube gives you, especially after you hit a certain level. After you hit a certain level, they'll actually attach a consultant to you. And once you hit a certain level on YouTube, everybody knows how to, so for example, I'm looking at the set list tonight. All these are massive main stage bands. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, we had a lot lesser known bands. We had 34 people in the room. Now we've got 140 people in the room. Some of that has to do with when you decide to stream, et cetera, et cetera. But I know how to get, if we get in a mood where we go, okay, we want X amount of people, we know how to do that.
Yeah.
And if we want to turn down the spigot, we know how to do that.
Right.
But what happens is there are certain topics, because YouTube is like 95% male constituency. So there are certain topics that will make it so that the people who are following you, if you take this contrary position, will unfollow you in mass. Mm-hmm. And so there's this pressure to not say that thing, yep, or not address that issue, or not shoot that video,
yep,
or stay quiet about this, or look the other way. And this dude finally couldn't do it anymore, so he started addressing it, and sure enough, he lost a bunch of subs. So there's always that thing when you're in media or entertainment or the arts or whatever, to where there's a conflict between the purity of your intentions and the demand of the audience, and then your own necessity for survival.
Right. Yeah.
And, those get triangulated.
Yep.
And the problem is that you don't get, that doesn't get revealed to you until after you've had the celebration. So, I got a record deal, or I hit 10,000 subs, or I did X, Y, and Z. And like, and once you get addicted to the success and how it feels, then it becomes much harder to operate with the integrity that you want to.
Absolutely.
So that's why a lot of these bands, you'll always hear them do one song about the music industry at least. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's because, and it usually happens after they have some success. Mm-hmm. Because like they taste the success, and then the industry goes, yep, okay, so now you need to compromise here, here, and here. And he's like, nope, not gonna do it. So every word I said is what I mean. And you know, I had those conflicts with people, and you know, there was a particular situation, and the person was like, well, all the other black reactors didn't have a problem with it, and I'm like, I'm not mad at those brothers, but there's a reason. Of course, 100%. This guy doesn't know YouTube, so he doesn't understand. Yep. So, and it was funny because in this particular situation, it was almost exclusively the only people, the people that YouTube was promoting and reacting to that song were black reactors, and there's a reason for that. Yep. So, like, and I'm not saying it's not that YouTube is like, oh, we need to promote black people, but it was just the context of the song and the potential for conflict, and YouTube understands like conflict generates views, so they were pushing those, but it gives people a certain type of impression, not realizing. And I said, do you realize that all these reactors and all these people on YouTube have a financial stake in how you react to them? So they're, and I'm not mad at them, and nor do I think that they're sellouts. They're using, you know, a certain structure to cash in on that structure. So you're giving people what they want to hear, and they're gonna give you what you want. Yep. So I don't look at that as selling out. I just look at that as saying, oh, okay, this is how you're surviving in this kind of a context. Cool. I respect that. I can't do it because of how I am, and you know, my perspectives and how I was raised. But I truly, genuinely don't believe in the whole sellout thing. Like, you know, when Tool talked about it, like, you know, of course I sold out. Like, you're wearing my shirt. You know, you know, I'm selling my record at a record store. What are you talking about? Yeah. So I don't believe in this whole concept of selling out. I believe that there are some people that can handle that cognitive dissonance, and there are other people that cannot handle that cognitive dissonance. I'm one of them, and in this song, obviously, Chris is one of them. But there are a lot of bands that go, oh, that's how we do. Okay, it's fine, and I'm good with that. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all.
Well, I think the other thing too is that when he says every word I said is what I mean, that's a difficult statement, because you could mean everything that you're saying today, but a week from now, something alters you and changes you. And some changes can be massive in a single moment, and sometimes there are just gradual changes, but you're not the same person. So, I mean, that sentence to me it's difficult, because everything that I've said, I've meant mostly, but now I've changed my mind on some of the things that I said before. You know? Yep.
That's a good line. Virgin eyes and dirty looks on what I have and why I took, counting all the hands I shook. Now I know why you've been shaking. So that's just a smart like dichotomy, right? Virgin eyes and dirty looks. Virgin eyes, dirty looks, because you look with your eyes, right? Yeah. Virgin eye, dirty look. Yeah. So that's brilliant lyrics, and I think that he's talking about his experience, that he came into the music industry basically as a virgin, in the sense of being young, naive, that type of thing, and he was going into a den of wolves and he didn't know it. So dirty looks on what I have and why I took, counting all the hands I shook. So, and the other thing is, that might also be the reaction of some of his fans, like the hardcore fans. Dirty looks on what I have and why I took. Yep. So it's like, oh, you took this money, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's this weird dichotomy between money and art. And it's happened all the way, you know, I mean, Renaissance guys were deputized and paid off and all the rest of it. Like, people have to make a living. So bleed your heart out. There's no more rides for free. Bleed your heart out. I said, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? So I think this is kind of like that cognitive dissonance. Like, I'm not doing shit for free. What's in it for me? Maybe maybe it's a record label and all the rest of it, but maybe he's talking for himself. Like, okay, if we're not going to talk about celebrating art and if we're just going to be money, 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 then fine. I'm not doing anything free. What's in it for me then? Okay, so we're relating at that level. Like, cool. All right, let's do it then. What's in it for me? Maybe that's what's going on in his head right here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other side of being under all that pressure is then you have fans who have no idea how hard it is to be him, coming with all this commentary.
Yep.
And I imagine that is extremely frustrating, because, it's sometimes it'll happen where people try to people who have no YouTube channel or well, we
had it happen tonight.
I was trying to be general, but aside from, it's like people have all these opinions about what you should do and all that. And I'm not talking about technical,
But you know what? It's like that with so much stuff.
Correct.
Remember,
Correct.
I had one daughter and I had so much to say about parenting. And now I'm like, now that I have 6 kids, I'm like, if I had to deal with a younger version of me, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. You don't know. You only have one kid.
You were pretty opinionated about children even before you had kids.
Oh, yeah. I thought I had it all nailed down. It's just ridiculous. People.
Yeah.
So, we're all guilty of it, I guess. Or lots of us are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the sum total of what the song is about. But the biggest thing about this song, man, is... well, I don't really know what the biggest thing about the song, because I love what he did. No, I know why.
Yeah.
That's the thing sometimes, with... After Slipknot, listening to death metal, for a bunch of years, I thought, if you're heavy, it's got to be the Cookie Monster thing. This song is mega heavy.
Yeah.
And he never went with the Cookie Monster thing. He altered his voice, especially when he's like, no, I know why you... yeah, but it wasn't raw. So it's good to remember, up and coming vocalists. If you want to get heavy, it doesn't always have to be the Cookie Monster thing, right? He's got a very driving riff that kind of drives you into the ground, and then he just repeated that phrase, but he didn't have to do the Cookie Monster thing, and it sounded awesome. Now, Are you going to sound like Chris Cornell? Hell no.
Forget about it.
Nobody on the planet Earth is ever going to sound like that boy again. Listen, man. I'm sorry, man. That man...
Some people are just something... Yeah.
It'll never happen again in music. Never. Yeah. So there's that. What do you give the song?
9.2 for me. For May.
I'm going to have to give this a 9.8 again, man. Woo! I love it. This is grunge metal. This is a sub-genre. Grunge metal. Call it what you want, but the last 2 songs we heard were heavy, they were hard, they were metal. So the moral of the story is
get heavy.
Mean what you say and say what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, people are gonna write a song about you. Then out.
Sorry, out.
Down. Whoo!
All
that
right.
shit was heavy, bro.
Yeah, it was. It really was heavy.
That bass line was a problem. These guys, man, holy moly. Okay, what's the third song?
Okay, Tool, Cold and Ugly.
Is DJ Mark still in the
house?
house?
This is the live version that he wants.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Right here. Right there. It's got it's Lost Cat music.
What'd you say?
Lost Cat music.
Lost Cat music. Okay. So the next one up, guys, is a Tool song. The next song up is a Tool song. The name of the song is Cold and Ugly. Cold and Ugly is the name of the next Tool song that we're going to be doing. Please stand by while we go for our regularly scheduled program already in progress. Vin,
I'm sorry.
if you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. It sorry says 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Well, Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. Damn, yo.
What happened?
My team lost. The Suns, they lost. They blew. I didn't blow them out, but this guy Giannis. Damn, that hurts. All right.
Sorry, babe.
Buy our merch, indeed. Now, what do I have to cheer myself up after hearing that
Cold and ugly, babe.
that my team lost? What do I have to cheer myself up?
After
Cold and ugly from Tool. What'd you say?
Well, we would have had to play it backwards. Because you asked, what do I have to cheer myself? And I was going to say, after figuring out the cold and ugly truth that your team lost.
Oh.
But it was too late.
The Suns blew it. Yeah, they did blow it. Okay. We're not saving the best for last, Mike. This is actually a 6-song DJ stream. So
yeah.
we're just at the halfway point. So we're good. We got more time with each other. For that, I'm very grateful, especially now. You guys got to keep me company. Cold and Ugly by the band Tool. This is a live version.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Throw that Bob Marley wannabe motherfucker out of here.
Okay, man. Just gotta get it out. My team lost. Hard, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I've never heard Tool like this.
Underneath the skin and jewelry, hidden in her words and eyes, is a wall of cold and ugly, and she's scared as hell. Showing out the thought of feeling, what a way to keeping distance. Nothing seems to penetrate her 'cause she's scared as hell. I am frightened too. I am frightened.
There it is. That's a long run.
Swimming out the thought of feeling, what a way to keeping distance. Nothing seems to penetrate her 'cause she's scared as hell. I am frightened too. I am frightened.
traditional style solo too. Talk to him, brother minister. That's good, Soraya. 11:50 p.m. Who cares? Talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's a good one.
I think I agree with everyone. I think he's probably talking about Zach De La Rocha from when he said get that Bob Marley looking the fuck at it, because he actually they were very good friends, I think. Either way, I don't think it's racist. I mean they're, how's that racist? It's Bob Marley looking motherfucker, I don't care. Or it could be just a fan or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody said Glenn Danzig, so I didn't get the Glenn Danzig reference. So somebody help me out with that. Holy moly, The Grudge is your favorite song of all time? The Grudge is one of my favorite Tool songs of all time. Holy moly. Okay.
Wow.
So this is the third song.
Oh my gosh.
Where I would say Tool is not really a heavy band. It's more about reflection or whatever.
Yeah.
But they just blew the gates off on this song because it was heavy as hell. Third time in a row.
Did
DJ Mark. And if you want to know who
know
DJ Mark is, he's this little fella right here.
Yep. Hi, little guy.
Hey, little guy. How you doing?
He's smoking a cigar. Or at least it looks like he is. Anyway, so this song, friggin', it was so heavy, I couldn't even, I didn't know Tool could do that. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't. I got introduced to Tool really through the channel. I mean, I knew about Sober. Sober was the only song. And actually, I had heard more Perfect Circle songs than Tool songs before the channel.
Oh, okay.
So I had like 3 or 4 Perfect Circle songs that I really loved. And Sober was the only Tool song. A little loud. Sober was the only Tool song that I really that I knew about. I didn't know about any of these other songs.
Unbelievable. This song is like, I don't know where they were trying to go with it. I know what I got from it, but underneath the skin and jewelry, hidden in her words and eyes, is a wall that's cold and ugly, and she is scared as hell.
And then he says, "So am I," right, or something like that.
He does at the end, trembling at the thought of feeling wide awake and keeping distance. Nothing seems to penetrate her because she's scared as hell. I'm frightened too. I'm frightened. So I don't know if this is like a relationship song. That's kind of what I got from it, but I think. For me, it's an extremely relatable song because I think that my parents, every parent doesn't really know what they're doing when they start doing it. You're raising kids and you're just like, you're shooting from the hip sometimes. You're like, hopefully this works, and I think that, my parents, especially my dad, was really fearful that something would happen to us kids or whatever. And so I think they were always trying to make us be protected by fear. And so obviously as a parent, when you're fearful, you're going to give that fear to your kids. And so I think that there's probably some of that. And then some of the thoughts that I got by my own self, like not even with the way that my parents were, but just my own self and how I was viewing the world and how I was viewing people in the world around me, circumstances and stuff. And I think that I always kind of had a wall because of fear and kept everybody at a distance and didn't let people in. And then I went through a divorce, obviously, and then I said, you know what? I was damn right to be scared. Anything can happen. You don't know. Anything can happen. Like, you can do everything to foolproof something, but it doesn't matter. Shit's going to hit the fan anyway. And then I think that was something that I ended up, kind of bringing in with us, like being very fearful of so many things. Like, you're like the best person on the planet to be married to. And I think that maybe even that made me more like, well, what if Vin leaves, or what if he dies, or what if this happens? Like, all these things that could possibly happen. And I think that when you're a person that lives in fear, you end up, like he says, nothing can penetrate her. It's a wall that's cold and ugly, and she's scared as hell. And fear can, I think, make us into be really terrible people. So, I just thought that this song was, and he doesn't really preach at you or tell you what to do about it. It just seems like he's explaining something, and he's saying that he's scared too, and like maybe it's a relationship song, and maybe both of them have different fears that they have and stuff that they have to get past, or so there's that.
Yeah, that's Underneath the Skin and Jewelry. It appears to me that this is probably like some famous person, because he was in Cali at the time. Remember, it was Opiate, right? Was it fuck all you gun-toting pimp gangster wannabes?
I don't know.
Isn't that what he said? Fuck all you gun-toting pimp gangster. I'll tell you why I'm bringing up that lyric in a second. Yeah, it's in so it's in Anima, and he says, but before he says that, he says this. He says, where'd you go? Now, Opiate came before Anima, right?
You'd be better off to ask the comment
section. Well, can you talk to the people?
Oh, let me pull up that thing.
When he said, fuck your tattoos.
You guys, did Opiate come before? Fake it till you make it. Yep, do your best, and if all else fails, fake it till you make it.
Oh, yeah, right there. Fuck retro anything, fuck your tattoos, fuck all your junkies, fuck your short memory. There it is right there. Fuck these dysfunctional, insecure actresses.
Oh.
Okay, so did they say Opiate came before Tool?
Opiate was their first release.
Okay, so Opiate came before Tool. Okay, so here's my theory. Okay, so he was in a relationship with this girl, and it didn't work out. So then in the next record, which followed, which I'm assuming is Anima, he then says, fuck all you insecure actresses, because it's probably the same girl from this song. That's my theory. Okay?
Wow.
So,
yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. So, that was just a very, very interesting take for me. So, underneath the skin and jewelry, hidden in her words and eyes, is a wall that's cold and ugly, and she's scared as hell. So he couldn't. Again, this is all theory for me. So, well,
I think it sounds like a pretty damn good theory.
Yeah, he couldn't get past the wall. And so in this song, she's building a wall. She's full of fear. She's insecure. Blah blah blah. And then by the time we get to the next record, he couldn't do it.
It was
and they broke up. Her insecurity was too much. That was the end of it.
Wow. It's sad too, because at this point he's recognizing that she's, she has a wall.
Oh wait. It's Opiate, Undertow, and Anima. So Undertow came between Opiate and Anima.
But that could still
works.
Yeah, still works.
Go ahead.
So at this point he's saying,
holy moly, Tool's most iconic live show took place in Lewiston, Maine.
No way.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wish I would have been there. So at this point it seems like he's recognizing there's an issue. He knows that it's coming from fear, and that he's being open with her also to say that he's also scared. So it doesn't seem like he's completely closed off to her yet. It just seems like he's like, "Are you have a problem?" Blah blah. Blah. And then he says that he's kind of still being open with her, and then it seems like by that point it's done. Like it didn't work.
Yeah.
They both But that's
Well,
the thing.
They don't break up in this song.
No, I'm saying at this point in the song, at this point in their relationship, if your theory is correct, he was open to seeing that she had fears and that that's what was making her cold.
Right.
And then that he also was fearful. And so it was kind of like opening himself up to her to say, hey, like, we both have an issue with fear. Like, let's work together and move forward. But then, obviously, if your theory's correct, by the time the other song comes out, it didn't work.
Yeah, and this happens a lot with like Korn, for example.
People have to work on themselves.
Yeah, like a lot of Korn's music is about working on yourself and dealing with insecurities and stuff. So
yeah, and Korn is big on that.
Yeah, Korn's really, really big. I think Korn had a pretty big influence on Tool.
Probably.
Yeah, like I don't think that Tool comes with like that heavy sound
without Korn.
If Korn doesn't show up as a band. That's just how I feel about it. But anyway, trembling at the thought of feeling wide awake and keeping distance. Nothing seems to penetrate her because she's scared as hell. That's probably
trembling at the thought of feeling. Like the idea to open yourself out to really feel is very scary to him. And it's, wide awake and keeping distance. Like like when you're wide awake, you're on guard, you are watching to make sure that everything's good. He's wide awake and keeping distance. So it's not.
It's got that hypervigilance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's saying nothing seems to penetrate her because she's scared, and I'm scared too. Like it's just a bunch of fear. And the Bible says a perfect love casts out fear. So there is an instance where if you are very fearful, you can't be full of love. Right.
But the next line says, and fear has to do with torment.
Yes.
So there's some type of torment that relationship wise people are afraid of, and it's a
wait, how are you interpreting that?
What do you mean?
Fear has torment?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, you initially are afraid of something because of the torment that it's going to bring. Mm-hmm. But then you get so encased within fear that the fear of the torment itself becomes the torment.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and so we actually kind of see this with the Kevin Samuels stuff. I saw this yesterday because I was really so Kevin Samuels is this black guy, and he's
fascinating.
He's incredibly fascinating / toxic.
Yep.
To, in my opinion, it's one of those things where it's like eat the meat and spit out the bones, but the bones are so toxic to certain kinds of women that it'll kill them. Like remember we were watching that girl, the Pretty Privileged Girl, and she was referring to Kevin Samuels. She even mentioned by name, and she said she didn't watch it because she was afraid.
Yeah. Because
the things that he was saying, it's pretty painful to hear. But my point is,
I actually think that if she watched it, it wouldn't be as painful as she's fearing that it is.
I disagree.
Because she has already an understanding. She doesn't have an inflated view of herself.
That particular video, yeah, I think she'd be okay. But watching him interact, because I think about her when I see him interact with these girls. But one of the things that I noticed, though, is a lot of so he talks to black women in their mid-30s, because basically if you're single and you're black in the mid-30s, as a woman, your chances of being married are extremely low.
1 in 4.
And but these women want like high value men. It's a whole weird subculture. But my point is, there was a lot of these women at like 35 years old, and they had a relationship in college.
Almost all of them did.
And the guy wanted to marry her.
Yep, they got engaged.
She wouldn't do it.
And they got the ring, and then X amount of time passes by, and they say, no, I changed my mind.
She wouldn't do it. And then they get to 35, and then they want the kind of guy that they were able to snag when they were in college. And so Kevin's like, he's like, well, why did you drop him? And then his solution to these girls is, well, just lower your standards then. It's just so countercultural. But, I mean, at some level, I see what he's saying.
I think that he's making some very good points, and I think that it might be hurtful to hear, but at the same time, if you can hear it and apply it, then they might not be single for the rest of their lives. So if you're, a lot of these girls, they're looking for, he calls it a high value man. They're looking for a traditional man that in the end, at first they say that they want to work and all that stuff. But then when they realize how much it's going to cost for childcare, they realize they're going to end up having to stay home with their kids.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do the traditional things like cooking. They don't have a cookbook. They haven't been trying to better themselves in cooking or anything like that. So they want to be the person that's at home, and they want their husband to do a traditional role and bring in a lot of money. Like they were talking like $300,000 a year is what they're hoping for. But they don't want to be the basics of what. So all throughout history, there's certain what men have been, the breadwinners and working, and women have been at home taking care of the children and cooking, and they're saying they don't want to be a traditional woman, but they want a traditional man.
Right. So my point is, just like listening to this song, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of imagination here, but it's like, Shorty, you could have been Maynard James Keenan's wife. And because you have all these issues, like you sabotage the relationship, like that's crazy to me.
But I don't know. I mean, what is she afraid of? Is she afraid of him cheating on her? Because I'm pretty sure we've listened to some song where that was a problem. Was that a problem for him or not?
Yeah, I mean Maynard.
Oh yeah, there was documentation.
Yeah,
of him
Maynard.
Maynard.
He but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just talking about the principle of like, having that fear and then letting fear dominate you, and then when you hit your mid 30s, now you want to go all in on a relationship, and then. So that's why I always say, like, I say this all the time to the kids, to you, to everybody. It's like, you're gonna suffer one way or the other. Like this idea that you can protect yourself. Like, look, I'm not talking about abusive people. I'm not talking about horrible, terrible people. But the idea that you can be in a relationship and protect yourself from pain, but simultaneously be all in the relationship is impossible. And so I understand that it's a terrifying thing, like, oh, I don't want to get hurt again. But the alternative is, okay, you build up a wall so big that you're alone.
Yep.
So then you have to, it's that wise phrase, which I didn't make up, but choose your hard. Being married is hard, but being lonely is hard. Choose. Being married is hard, and being divorced is hard. Choose. Opening yourself up is hard. And closing yourself off is hard. Choose. Being overly emotional is hard, and killing all your emotions is hard. Choose. You have to choose.
You said opening yourself up is hard.
Yeah.
And closing yourself off is hard.
Yeah, it is.
I think that closing yourself off is, in some instances, very easy to do, but I think waking up and realizing how closed you are and what your closed behaviors have done is hard.
That's because you haven't really ever truly closed yourself off.
Oh.
So that's why you're saying it's not hard. No, I think
I've always done distance.
Yeah, you've done distance. You've never actually shut off an emotion. That takes some surgery. So all of that shit is hard. It's life. And this is why I say, like, as a Christian, we have a very convenient template, because our template tells you all this stuff beforehand. Now, that doesn't mean it's true or false. I'm just saying it's convenient for us, because I'm entering a relationship with you. I know immediately that, yeah, you're perfect for me, but I know there's going to be issues just because my religion tells me that you're a sinner. So that means you're going to screw up. And it also means that I'm going to screw up. So I already come into the relationship with the expectation that this is a person that's perfect for you, but they're not perfect. So then that means she's going to hurt me. That's what it means. And so I go into the relationship as best as I possibly can with eyes open, saying, yeah, there's going to be times when she's going to hurt you. You just have to accept that as a given. And then you have to say to yourself, okay, what degree of hurt is what I can tolerate? And there's entire categories of that. Like, there's a big difference between somebody missing an anniversary and you finding them in a bed with somebody else. And some people can't tolerate missing an anniversary. Okay, well then break up with them and go back out in the field. And I mean that literally. So I just think, like, relationship wise, what happens with people is they have this like fuzzy moment. They fall in love. They interpret the emotion of infatuation as love. Now they're in a relationship with this person, and this is like chemically true. Like you when you're in love, you're so hopped up on endorphins that you literally sometimes cannot see things that are extremely obvious. So now when the endorphins have petered out and you're just in a normal cycle of life, and then you begin to see the person's flaws, now all of a sudden you've fallen out of love or whatever. So I just think that there's a lot of things that keep people from having really deep rooted, significant, and abiding relationships, and fear is a major one. But you have to go to the root of the fear, which is, what are you afraid of? Person says, I'm afraid of getting hurt. And then the question becomes, nobody asks the next question, which is, do you believe that you can have a relationship and never get hurt again? Is there that belief? I see so many times in movies and shows, and I'd never hurt you like that, blah blah blah, and I just laugh. What do you mean?
Well,
What do you mean you'll never hurt him again? You might not hurt the person that way, but you're gonna hurt the person that you're with. That's just a given. That's a fact. Because people are sinners. That's what it means. And we all know this. I don't care what religion or non-religion you have. I mean, everybody agrees with the phrase nobody's perfect, right? So if you say nobody's perfect, okay, that means that you're with an imperfect person, and imperfect people hurt people. It's the same thing with parenting, by the way. This is a bonus. You're going to hurt your kids, and your kids are going to say shit that's ungrateful and painful and hurt you. That's how it is. So, as you know, we want to construct lives that are the most convenient, the most comfortable, and the most safe. That's not how we evolved to get to be an apex predator.
Right.
In the world.
No, you're right. You're
right?
right.
Like,
yeah.
That's not what happened. Our ancestors weren't chilling out in the caves like we went out there and we conquered shit. And we knew some of us aren't going to make it back to the cave, but we got to take out this wildebeest or whatever horrible creature people were dealing with at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Peterson was talking about, kind of facing yourself and dealing with your issues that you have. And he said sometimes when people are in a situation where they recognize that there's something that they have to make changes about themselves, they look at that and it seems too big or too daunting of a task. And so they want to say, I can't do this. But he said what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, if I don't make these changes, what will happen? And so sometimes that's a motivator, because you realize that if you don't make the changes, what you have to face if you don't make the changes is much worse than facing those changes now and having to do that. So the other one is way worse. So he said sometimes you use fear as a motivator instead of fear holding you back because you're so afraid to make changes. You're so afraid to face yourself. Instead, what you do is you say, if I don't make these changes, X, Y, and Z thing is going to happen. And that fear can help push you toward, okay, it'd be much better just to make those changes because I don't want to have to live with the other reality.
Yeah. Yeah. And BC says, well, then why not just be alone? I mean, Jesus got done preaching a sermon one time about marriage, and Jesus took a hyper conservative position on marriage. It was so conservative, it was even more stringent than the most conservative rabbi at the time. So the disciples looked at Jesus and said, well, shit, if it's like that, that's the Vincent translation. They said, man, well, shit, bro, if it's like that, then nobody should get married. Yeah. And Jesus said, yeah, some of you shouldn't. Some of you shouldn't. And that's the other thing is, like, people who are all tore up and they, you're all jacked up and you want to just jump into another relationship, especially if you had a nasty breakup. That's the last thing I'll say about, like, the whole insecure. I've been hurt before, so I'm insecure to go into the next one. You know, one of the things that will help you not feel so insecure if you've been hurt before is to look at your role in the dissolution of the relationship. I'm not talking about an abusive person.
No, not at all.
If you're with a person who puts his hands on you, male or female, I used to only say that to the girls, but now, if you're in a relationship where somebody's constantly putting hands on, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, for the most part, if a relationship dissolved, it's usually because two people, whatever. But most of the time when something dissolves, we want to completely blame the other person. And we want to demonize the other person and sanctify ourselves. And then we say things like, oh, I don't want to be hurt again. instead of saying things like, I don't want to hurt somebody that way again.
Yeah, facts.
There's a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I guarantee you hurt that man. Or you hurt that girl too, bro. Now, what happens a lot with relationships when they really start unraveling is, oh, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you worse. You hurt me. And then it escalates into something irreversible, like cheating on the person. Now, the person that cheated on the person looks absolutely crazy, right? And so we're not going to talk about all the things that led up to that. We're just going to say so-and-so cheated on the person, right? So, and it's fine, man. And there's a lot of, look, you will always, every time a relationship dissolves, you will always find a bunch of people. That's one of the things that's funny to me about this show with this guy. Is because all these single women who can't get anybody are surrounded by, guess what, other single women. Mm-hmm. And so Kevin's like, single women make women single. Single women keep women single. So
yeah, because they keep feeding each other the same narrative instead of...
Yeah, and of course, Kevin is always focused on the women, but it's the same thing for men. Single men also keep men single. And there's a lot of men that have horrible, horrible, horrible influence on their friends. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you've got a friend and he keeps giving you relationship advice, but he's not in a relationship himself, I don't understand it. So, like, we say things like, oh, I don't want to get hurt again because we want to present ourselves as a sympathetic figure who all just bad things just happen to you and all the rest of it. Again, I'm excluding abuse here.
Right.
And so... If you believe that lie, then yeah, you're going to walk around in a lot of fear. But if you actually say to yourself, I'm never going to hurt somebody that way again in my next relationship, you actually feel empowered to work on yourself and you enter the next relationship with a lot less fear because your emphasis is on what you can control, which is yourself. Mm-hmm. If you go in a relationship saying, I don't want to get hurt again, then you're going to go in fear the entire time because you can't control whether or not that person hurts you.
Oh, boy, I hear you, Vin.
But if you go into a relationship saying, I'm not going to hurt somebody the way I hurt my previous, then you're not going in with fear. You're going in with a purpose, right? And now you're going in with some power.
Wow.
Because you're talking about what you've done.
Yeah.
And I can work on me. I can't work on her. She can't work on me. You guys have seen that. Nobody can work on me except for Allah. Like, there's a lot of times when Jesus is like, nah, bro, you wrong. You got to turn around. Get out of the shower and apologize. You know what I'm saying? So that like the song is really, really important because it's deeper than people realize, man. Mm-hmm. Really, really deeper than people realize. Mm-hmm. Okay, really good song.
Obviously a 10. I mean,
yeah, this is a 10.
No two ways about it.
This is a 10.
Definitely a 10.
This dude is a problem. This DJ Mark fella. He is a problem. He's really, really, his song selections are really good. It's a 10 for me. Mm-hmm. The moral of the story is work on yourself and don't have any fear, and inshallah ta'ala you'll have another opportunity to love somebody with a little less brokenness than you did in your previous relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's always a win. It's a 10 for me.
A 10 for me as well.
Then out.
Sorry, out.
Down. Holy moly, 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 moly.
That was really good. Oh, yes, we have Pearl Jam next.
Oh, we got Pearl Jam. Holy shit, this guy's... And they named the song Animal. Which means it's going to be heavy. Yeah! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
Oh. No, babe.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, guys. Animal from Pearl Jam is coming up next. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, you beautiful people. Why does it say commercial on there? Okay. Ben,
I'm sorry.
if you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. It sorry says 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
All right, you losers.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch.
So, we are in the middle of an amazing live stream. Too bad you didn't make it, but the people that are hearing me right now did make it. So, anyway.
This is for DJ Mark.
Yeah.
You can see the big homie right here.
I want to poke his belly like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but I can't get my finger over there because he's floating on the front of the screen. Anyway, so he has been picking some ridiculous picks tonight, and the next one in our lineup is Pearl Jam Animal. If you too are interested in a DJ stream, send us an email, vinandsorry@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Good night, Isaac.
Let's get into this. I'm sure it's going to be another ridiculous pick since that's been the theme of his picks tonight.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Whoa.
If you would like to get...
That's not
the video.
it. That's not Pearl Jam.
That's not Pearl Jam. I don't know. Did I actually download that thing? Yes. No, I did not. I have not downloaded it.
Okay. Well, you will get that as we talk amongst ourselves.
Pearl Jam. Well, you could just talk to people. We could just get rid of this in post.
Yeah, that's true. Here's another good one. Yep.
Holy moly, it's a 2-minute song.
Did we ever do that one?
No, we didn't do that one.
Okay.
We've never done Animal.
Okay.
I'd remember it.
I'm going to tell him you said his pick was ridiculous.
What happened? Was that Jamie?
Yeah, well, Mark is right here. He knows the context of how I said ridiculous.
Auspicious Eye of the Tiger.
Good night, Isaac. Eddie Vedder. Oh.
Why is this thing is not...
Who's got your belly bubbles?
All right.
Watch out, Vin. Cover your eye.
What happened?
Because of this pick that's coming up. They told you to cover your eye.
Oh, are you going to hit me? Don't hit me,
No,
bro.
because you know how I always get too crazy.
That's what I'm saying. You always hit me.
Yeah, but it's not on purpose.
Okay. There must be something wrong with this thing because it's not letting me download it. Let's go this way. Keep talking to that
Oh, okay. Well, I get distracted watching. I've emailed the secret email, sorry. Okay, Neil, I will check that. Not tonight. Tomorrow.
Who?
It's Neil.
Oh, Neil.
Neil.
What's he want? What's he need?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to read the email, and I just said I'm not reading it tonight.
Never have a want. Never have a need.
That's going to be fixed on edit. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. Inshallah.
Damn. I feel
Let's
so
not
bad
spoil it
for
for
I
them.
feel so bad for Chris Paul, bro. I really do.
I know. I don't know why I keep poking him in the eye. Do you have it? The song?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, here we go.
All right, y'all, here we go. This is Pearl Jam. The name of the song is Aminal. I said Aminal.
Oh.
And let's go. This is one of those jump. rather be with an animal. Shout out to Cenk Uygur.
That got so loud at the end. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I guess this is the next step in what happens.
What?
If you allow the fear to just
You become
overtake
an animal?
you. No, he's saying he'd rather be with an animal.
Like you're done with humans.
Yeah.
I don't know if be with an animal is in a sexual context.
No, I don't. I didn't get that.
It might
either.
be like Tarzan. There was a Tarzan movie that came out in the 90s, and it was like, it was with Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know Brendan Fraser?
No.
Shout out to Brendan Fraser. But he you know, it was Tarzan. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, people found him, whatever. They civilized him. And then, you know, he was living like a regular person. And then he, you know, he was feeling the call to go back to the jungle. And his girlfriend, or the Jane, whatever her name was, whatever. And he was like going away. And she's like, stay with me or whatever. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna go. I got to go back to the jungle or whatever. And she goes, you can't go back to the jungle. And he said, well, why not? She's like, you can't go back to the jungle. You're a man. And he looks at her and he goes, I'm not a man. And then he goes, and I'm not an animal.
Oh.
That's a pretty good line.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I took it when he said, I'd rather be with an animal. It's like, because Tarzan was like, man, fuck all you guys, man. Because,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it was, you know,
Yeah.
they were doing the shit people do, you know?
For me, there was like two thoughts. One was, that's really interesting about the Tarzan thing, which made me think just when you were talking about, what was that? What was the name of that? I cannot believe it just went away. So there was like that blonde woman and there was this giant gorilla and he protected her. He ends up dying in the end.
King Kong?
King Kong.
Yep.
Yeah. That one was such a, I was like, oh my word. I liked King Kong. That because he was protective of her. I like that. But that's not what I thought of when I heard the song. I just thought of people who are like, you hear like two crazy things that people say, like people that work with like in funeral homes or something like that. They're like, I'd rather work with the dead than the living. You know what I mean? Like that thing.
Yeah.
And then also like when people are like, I am done with relationships and they just want a dog or a cat or something and they're done, you know? So that's what it made me think of, because I think that you're right. I think that it's very, very important to understand that in relationships, you're going to hurt people and they're going to hurt you. And I do think that it's important, like what you said in the last review, where people have to be working on themselves and finding out, you know, what did you fail in your last relationship and don't repeat that in your next one. So I think that that's really important. But I do think that if neither party wants to admit that they have faults or flaws, then how can the relationship carry on? Like, how can that happen?
Yeah.
I just think.
Yeah, but he says torture from you to me, abducted from the street. So, like,
that's weird.
Some of this stuff is kind of disjointed. So, like somebody said in the chat, he said this song was originally called 5 Against 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 against 1, 5, 5, 5 against 1. So, and aren't there 5 people in the band?
Oh, I don't know.
I think there's 5 people in the band, right? You got a drummer, a bassist, 2 guitarists, and your singer.
5 against 1.
I'd rather be with an animal, said 1, 2. Yeah, there's not a lot of lyrics to really break down in this song. It just looks to me like he's like, yo, I'm done. And you're right. Like, it can be done with society, done with a relationship, done with a family, done with, whatever. There's that conflict when you find out that you're a different person than everybody else. There's that conflict where, on the one hand, you go through this thing like, man, I want to be like everybody else. So you try to conform and be like them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it works and people go, oh, okay, you're conforming, come in. Mm-hmm. And other times, people just make the decision, man, fuck this shit. Like, I don't care. You don't like me? Whatever. I'm going to be myself.
Yeah.
And it looked like that. It looked like I had feelings like, now I'm going to be very careful about how I say this. I felt like that growing up in my family. It wasn't true. I mean, looking back at it now, it was not true to the degree that I would have told you it was true. Let me say it that way. But that's how I felt. I felt like the whole world was against me. Now, if he's really saying 5 against 1, the number 5 is like really, really big to me.
Somebody did say that there was 5 in the band.
Okay, so they have 5 members. Okay, so I don't know if he's saying, like, if this is him dealing with, I don't know, maybe now. So the 5 would be them.
Them against the record label?
Right?
Somebody was saying something about it in the comment section.
Maybe it's the 5 and the 1. Maybe the 1 is not talking about a person, but it's talking about homogeny. In other words,
what's that?
It's like when everybody is doing the exact same thing, so they become like one group of people.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like everybody's marching in the same direction, believe the same thing. It's homogenous, basically, is the idea. So maybe he's saying it's them 5.
I don't like the sound of that word.
It's those 5, the band, against the 1, the conformity, the Borg that people are trying to, society is trying to impose on, everybody.
Yeah.
So that's how I looked at it. Is you 5 band members who are going up against the 1 giant, Borg, the organized society type of thing. And so they look at themselves, and I think the name of this record is actually Verse, VS.
Oh.
Which could stand for
verse,
as in a verse in a song, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and it could also be
us versus you.
Right. So conflict, right? Like, so it seems like there's a conflict theme in that record. So that's the best that I could think of it. It's us 5 against the 1, and we're animals. So hey, I'd rather be with the animals then. Right, like I'd rather be with you guys, and I'm assuming that would also include their fans and all the rest of it. Dakota says the lyrics gave me the impression that the song is about a person being abducted and assaulted by a group of people. Very dark and very sad, which also makes sense because it says right there, torture from you to me, abducted from the street. Why would you want to hurt me? Oh, so frightened of your pain. Oh God, that's so sad. Right. So if it's talking about that, here, Tina, I think Tina has some more insight too. If I can find it was early on at an outdoor venue, it was what you think it's about. They make up a ridiculous story about what Pearl Jam is about while they're all chuckling. I don't know about that. As Perkinaw says, it's clearly about the Hegelian dialectics. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So Hegel had the whole the many and the one and all that mereology and all that stuff. Or this could be extremely literal, and it's a person. It's Eddie Vedder, who's a singer, reflecting on how terrible human nature can be even beneath animals. So maybe he just randomly looked at a story of a kid who got tortured and abducted from the street, and he read the story and he's just like, man, fuck this shit. I'd rather be with the animals. If this is the best that humanity can do, I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Could be. Yep.
So that's also like the
Mark, what was your take?
other
Can you
side
put it in
of
the
it.
comment section?
What happened? Did Mark say something?
I want Mark to tell me what he thought it was.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, it says
So
woof down
it could
here.
be
Woof.
it could be both. Well, wolf, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a dog, yeah. I mean, that's
5
still
against 1.
yeah. So and the song was originally titled 5 Against 1. So maybe it's like 5 dudes jumped on a kid or a girl or whatever, and he just read it in the newspaper and was like, "Holy shit! Look how horrible the earth is."
Jeez.
No, nothing to be sorry about, Tina. It's good. I just thought we were
We were on the same page.
You were explaining something. Yeah, so it could be completely metaphorical and saying, hey, it's us against the world.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could just be a very literal, specific topic where, you know, I got a friend of mine. I mean, to be honest with you, he's not really a friend. But when he was 11, him and his other friend were bored, and there was this kid down the street where they lived, and he was like 7 years old, and they knocked on the door to go play with him, and they killed him. And the kid was like, "Why are you doing this? I didn't do anything to you guys." And they killed him. And so, you know, he got out of prison like 5 years ago, and he's like, you know, he's a completely different person now. You know, he repented, he got saved, he's got a wife and kid of his own now, and it's a beautiful story of redemption. And I just remember, you know, there's all this celebrating about this guy, and obviously, you know, as Christians, anytime somebody, you know, has faith in Christ or whatever, like it's to be celebrated because the Bible says so. Jesus says that there's rejoicing in heaven for a sinner who repents. But man, having kids of my own and having kids who have kids who knock on the door to come play with them.
Yep.
And then to see everybody just celebrating that guy, like, man, celebrate him like in the comfort of your own home. I don't believe he should be celebrated publicly. Like, I don't care. Like, and that's why I said, like, I'm really not the guy's friend, because I've got my own issues in my heart that I it's clear to me even now, like, I haven't, and it's weird, like, I haven't forgiven him. He didn't, the offense wasn't to me, you know, and he, even now, Lord's like, well, what you're not the one who was the offended party. That was my kid. Like, and I've forgiven him. Just relax. But I get it, but I don't. So
yeah,
you know, I just don't think that guy should be celebrated.
I agree with that.
But they're gonna say, no, we're not celebrating him. We're celebrating what God did in his life, which I think is valid. But I still don't care. Like, they killed this kid, man.
Yeah,
like, this parent has to live with this for the rest of their life.
Honestly, that story to me is so terrifying, because the idea that could happen, and obviously, like, the details that I know about it is just holy shit. Like, I don't even understand. Like, whenever kids do something really horrible like that, it's just way more alarming, because they're kids. So you're like, how did that even happen? Like, how could kids have done something like that?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just way, ooh, boy.
And none of these kids had been abused. None of these kids had been.
They were friggin' bored.
They were bored. And I've talked to them because I'm trying to find some. Even though I believe in original sin and I believe kids are capable of that, I believe every kid is capable of that. I just still couldn't believe it. I was like, well, was there some? He's like, no, man.
Yeah, there was something with some cheerleaders, and they had set up something, and they did the same thing. They ended up killing a girl at their sleepover, and I just couldn't even. I just couldn't even believe it. Oh my gosh. Well, I think what's freaky about it too is not only that it could happen to my kids, But that my kids, apart from the grace of God, are capable of that type of evil is just unbelievable to me. I just, whoa, wow, no, I don't even want to. That's unacceptable to me. I don't even want to believe that would even be possible, because I see my kids and the good stuff that they do and the sweetnesses that they do, and it's just, holy moly, like those parents were probably shocked that their kid did such a thing.
Oh yeah, and terrified, I'm sure. He doesn't have a relationship with his parents. Like after what he did, like, you know,
kind of. I wonder why. I wonder if it's because that to me is like obviously if one of our kids did something like that, I would be so upset, but I wouldn't break relationship with them over it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine doing that.
But I don't know if the parents, you know, like some parents are very focused on like what they look like in a community. And so if their kid did something like that,
it was
like
a national thing.
Right.
Know?
So, you know, like you wonder why the parents.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's a difficult thing, but at the same, anyway.
Yeah. Aunt, your question was a good question, Aunt. And, you know, he says, would Jesus celebrate a Christian who killed someone over an atheist who lived a peaceful life? Well, Jesus would never celebrate a Christian killing anyone. And Jesus does celebrate when anybody does anything good or reflects the image of God. So Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. So he didn't say blessed are the Christian peacemakers. He just said blessed are the peacemakers. So anybody that's trying to do peace in the world is celebrated from Jesus. Now, that does not mean that they're in relationship with Jesus. I don't want Jesus to celebrate me from a distance. I want to see him in his face, and I want him to look at me and say, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
So, and if you had 2 seconds with Jesus, you'd want the same thing. So, yeah, Jesus absolutely celebrate. I will tell you this, though. I'll tell you this. Being rebuked by Jesus is a better feeling than being celebrated by people.
Oh yes, yeah.
So I would rather be the Christian who's in the position of being rebuked by Jesus than the atheist who, of my own choosing, creates that distance where Jesus has to celebrate you from a distance. I'd rather Jesus celebrate me to my face. So I hear you, bro, and I think there's a lot of praiseworthy things that you've done that Jesus has said, yo, did you check out what this dude just did? And there's clear instances in the Bible, for example, about Cyrus, where God says, before Cyrus was born, actually, in Isaiah, hey, man, you don't know me, but we're going to do some really cool stuff together. So that's how I look at it. Good song. Either way, it's a good song. It's kind of mysterious. And I got to be honest, I wish it was a little bit longer because I felt like the song was going somewhere. But at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe it's one of those albums where the songs kind of bleed into each other.
Tool always does that. They all bleed in. Yeah. So,
I mean, this isn't Tool. This is Pearl Jam, but.
Oh my gosh. I enjoyed it so much. I forgot. Okay. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
Yeah, this was, you're probably right. It probably does bleed into it. I definitely loved it. It's a 10 for me. No two ways about it.
And then Corlon says, no way to prove that Jesus had wizard powers. No Christian believes Jesus had wizard powers.
Yeah, I was like, where that
Nobody believes that.
Wizard powers.
Thank you for your contribution, though. What do you get the song?
I just gave it a 10.
I can't give it a 10 because it was too small. It was too short. So I'm going to give it a 9.4. 9.4, ladies and gentlemen. 7 Dusters gives it 8.8. Colin says that Jesus founded corn. That was for you, Jambi. The moral of the story is don't live in the jungle, don't hurt people, and love your neighbor. How's that? Vin out.
Sorry out.
Did you forget your name?
No, my mind is very active right now. I'm thinking about a lot of the things that you're saying, and I'm piecing things together. So I'm not like listening to what I'm supposed to be saying next. Go ahead.
Gone. Well,
there's just so much to think about. You know what I mean?
Coralone. Those events happened 2,000 years ago, right? So when you say there's no evidence of it, what would you take as evidence for an event that happened 2,000 years ago? What evidence would you need to see for an event that happened 2,000 years ago? Remember, there was no YouTube. It's a serious question. Okay. What is the next jam? We're flying by, bro.
I know. We got the next one is Nirvana.
Yes. What's the name of the song?
Negative Creep.
Negative Creep. Liberal
Oh,
freak.
what's worse than being a creep? Being a negative,
Being a negative creep, bitch. You're a negative creep. Oh no, another 2 minutes.
You know, to be honest with you, a
you.
negative creep is less scary to me than a positive
I agree.
creep.
I agree. Because you're less likely to be duped by their creepiness or victimized by it.
Well, yeah, not only
you know
just
he's
that,
evil.
but it's like what they, like if somebody is just like, you really suck, but they're creepy about saying it.
Yeah.
That's less creepy than saying.
It's like that time when you were
creepily saying you have a really nice beard,
or saying
Something
like
positive.
I didn't name you. Remember that when you freaked out?
yeah.
Did you ever find out who called you? That was not me. Are you gonna talk to the people or no?
I forgot what happened.
Did you forget we have people?
Yeah, but they're listening to the story. What happened? I didn't name you.
Somebody called you up and
said what?
And was talking all types of craziness to
That's
you.
right. That
And-
wasn't you?
No, that was never me, bro. Wallahi, that was never me.
I forgot about that. I
Okay,
always thought
so
it was
now
you.
I'm going to go into the chat because Kai's asking questions.
Uh-oh.
Did you see my email? We have got to talk to these folks.
Uh,
All right, guys. Negative Creep is coming up. Negative Creep is coming up. You guys got to do Creep by Radiohead. Okay, so Coralone, what I would take as evidence is something demonstrable, not the writings of a holy book. Well, that's not true, right? Because you believe Alexander the Great existed, and there's no photo of him. The only way you know that he existed is because books tell you he existed. So you said there was no evidence for Jesus' resurrection. So the question I'm asking you is, get me the specific evidence that you would use to judge whether or not that event happened. If you can't give me what you would consider evidence for what you think, for what did or didn't happen, then that means your original complaint is completely disingenuous, right? Because on the one hand, you're complaining about a lack of evidence, but on the other hand, you refuse to define what evidence would be. So you've created a heuristic in which your unbelief can be invincible. All right, guys. See, look. The burden of proof is on the person making the extraordinary claim. The problem, though, is you're not telling us what your standards of evidence are. So we can't even get to proof because you're not telling me what you would consider as evidence for an event that happened 2,000 years ago. And you're still not answering the question. Cora, I'm going to ask you one more time. What are your standards of evidence for an event that happened 2,000 years ago? All right, so I got the thing downloaded.
All right. Did you call me bro?
Huh?
Did you call me bro?
I did. The Roman documents of the time prove he exists, but do nothing to support that Jesus was anything other than a man. That's not true, Juan. It's completely untrue. It's not true.
Okay.
Black Queen in the house. Look at this. Had to step away for a while. Not sure if anyone mentioned it, but Korn came out after Tool. I know that, Black Queen. I know that. The issue is that we have a person in here who gets triggered by any mention of Korn. So I just did that on purpose just to troll that guy.
And
You know
I
what I'm saying?
joined in because I like having fun with Vin while he trolls.
Okay, so Coralone, thank you for your contributions and thank you for hanging out. Coralone is not going to tell us what his or her standards of evidence are, even though he complained that there was no evidence for the resurrection of Christ. Cora, what I would suggest that you do is you should interrogate that. On the one hand, you're asking for evidence, but on the other hand, you refuse to provide what your standards of evidence are. That indicates to me that that's a person who doesn't necessarily actually want evidence, but wants to use the term evidence as a justification for their unbelief. That's what that looks like to me. I'm not saying that's what's happening with you. I'm saying you should interrogate that, because you got to admit that's kind of strange, right? If I say, prove to me you love me, and then she says,
How do I prove that?
How would I prove that to you? And I refuse to answer that question. You'd say, okay, that guy's not being an honest actor. Right? But I'm serious, though. I thank you for engaging, and I thank you for the discussion. Now, guys, Nirvana is on the way.
Negative creep.
Negative creep. Vin,
I'm sorry.
if you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
And a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
A child shall lead them, or a clown shall lead them.
Yes.
That, dear
Yes.
listener, is DJ Mark.
Who is leading us through this list of ridiculous songs, heavy as fuck, some of them.
I don't know if he's about to win DJ of the month. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's going to win DJ of the month. But this one is he's making a case. He's making a case for DJ of the month, ladies and gentlemen. That's as much as I can say. If you, dear listener, would like to be a DJ yourself, if you believe that you could topple Mark in getting us the ultimate playlist, reach out to Soraya and let's see what you got.
VinandSorry@gmail.com. But in the meantime, we are about to hit up this Nirvana song. The title of the song is Negative Creep.
Negative Creep. Nirvana, Negative Creep. Let's do it. Ant, do you believe it happened or no? Let's go. More chunky. This is another heavy grunge song. Holy moly. This is like straight metal. I believe you, bro.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Metallica almost. I can't believe this is Kurt Cobain.
Wow, that was a very heavy too.
Okay, I'm starting to figure this guy out. A bunch of heavy grunge songs. Holy moly! First of all, it did not sound like
Nirvana.
Nirvana
No.
at all.
Nope.
It was written 1989, guys.
Whoa.
Claire says, "I have the entire album on vinyl." Wow. I love the rawness of the song, but the feeling of it is amazing. 100%. Like, first of all, I love the heaviness. I love the riff. That was a Metallica riff.
Yeah.
It's almost you know the verse riff for Take My, what's the name of that song? That's a Never Land. Enter Sandman.
Oh.
So the riff is
yeah.
like that riff was, and you know this riff obviously Metallica stole their riff from these guys. Yeah, man, like unbelievable, like the heaviness. I never expected that from them, and there was also some punk influence in there too. I think somebody it felt like punky to a degree. Like I don't know what exactly what band or what kind of punk, but it just felt punky to me. You know, I'm really kind of ignorant as to punk music, but it sounded punky. It felt like punky to you a little bit.
It did, yeah.
And that's the craziest thing to me about these musicians, man, is like how almost fluidly they cross genres.
Yeah.
Or they'll have like multiple genres in the song, and it's one song. That doesn't happen in hip hop. Like you have conscious rappers, you have gangster rappers, you have pop rappers, you have southern rappers. You really don't see them cross genres a lot. Like that was one of the big reasons why that song with Biggie and Bone Thugs was so huge, because Biggie adopted a completely different style, and he did really good at it. And there are only a couple rappers, and then after Big did it, then a lot of the New York rappers started trying to do it, doing the same thing. But nobody ever did, in my opinion.
What he did?
What Big? Well, Jay-Z with Jigga What Jigga Who.
Yeah.
Act Loco, that kind of style. But yeah, you don't see this a lot in hip hop, but in metal, man, these guys are like 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. These are not like seasoned musicians, but they're just so good. And then they grow up listening to all these separate bands, and then they come out and they do this shit without thinking.
It's unbelievable.
And they think that it's, oh yeah, because I like this punk band and I like this, and let's just put it all together. It's just crazy. It's unbelievable to me the way these guys do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I would agree. I think it's funny that they can sound so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can have, like, for instance, like Tool pretty much always sounds like Tool.
Yes.
Even in that heavy song we listened to earlier, it sounded like Tool, but just like our heavier version of Tool. This one, I just didn't think it sounded a lot like what I, typically see from Nirvana.
Yeah. Oh, I was this song was the most surprising to me.
Yeah.
Just because of Kurt's voice. Like that evolution of a vocal style is is the most, like, for example, like we listen to Mudvayne's, version of this kind of a record, and it was still Mudvayne. Like you could tell it was early Mudvayne. The last Mudvayne song we did was from their, like, the record before LD50.
Oh, okay.
So it would be the equivalent of this record, but you could still tell, oh, that's Mudvayne. Like that's Chad. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this one, I'm like, I didn't even. If it wasn't for the people in the I would have been like, that wasn't Kurt Cobain. They like replaced Kurt Cobain with, or he replaced somebody or whatever. I personally think Nirvana changed from their early years because they sound completely different from something like Nevermind or In Utero. I don't have enough Nirvana knowledge to agree or disagree, but I mean, I would assume that could be the case. Lyrically, what did you think was going on?
Well, oh my word, my mind went so many different ways with it. So it seemed like, obviously there was something, it sounded like he was saying there was something that he couldn't attain to. This is out of reach. And this is getting to be drone, which I didn't know what that meant. To me, it was like boring or like
drone on type of thing. Yeah.
Right. And then he says, I'm a negative creep and I'm stoned. So I was like, well, that's weird of him to say about himself. And then he said, Daddy's little girl ain't a girl no more. And so that kind of freaked me out because it kind of sounded like, so he's saying when I think of someone that's a creep, that doesn't seem like a safe person, like a creepy creep. So he's saying that he's a negative creep and that he was stoned and now Daddy's little girl isn't a girl anymore. So I didn't know, but then I was like, nobody would make a song like this, what I was thinking. So it sounded like he was a negative creep that did something to his sister, and now his daddy's little girl is not. His sister? Because he said daddy's little girl ain't a girl no more.
Well, I'm assuming he was talking about his girlfriend. He's saying, hey, Pop, daddy's little girl's not a girl anymore.
Yeah. Well, I told you that I didn't think...
Weirdo?
I said nobody would make a song about what I was thinking that it was.
Well, people would. Well, I think it's...
Not Nirvana, I don't think.
I think it's him talking about what the father was saying to the daughter. This guy's a negative creep. He's a stoner. What are you doing?
You're right.
What are you doing with this guy? And so when he says this is out of our reach at the beginning of the song, I think that's a dad talking to the mom saying, we're losing this girl because she's grown. See, this is out of her reach and it's grown. And then later on he says, Daddy, the little girl's not a girl anymore. She's doing her own thing.
Well,
Pop, trust
he
me.
could be saying it's out of our reach because, and it's grown. It could be that the relationship, like maybe they thought, well, she's not going to really stay with this guy. It's not serious. And then it was getting more serious. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, it's a fun song when you're a young kid, but when you're a parent, it's not a fun song.
No.
Because I remember being a teenage, a teenager.
You would have never been considered creepy.
No, I wouldn't. No, but I don't think the girl, and I don't think creep here means like a 45-year-old guy who hangs out at playgrounds. Mm-hmm. Creep just means a bad person, especially in the 80s. Like they're coming out of it. It just means, oh, you creep, you're a bad person. Oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's just like you're just a negative person, you're a bad person. You smoke weed, you have no direction, you just drone along, you smell, you wear the same flannel shirt every day, and my daughter for some reason is completely infatuated with you. Your daughter should have stayed with him. She'd be a millionaire right now, bro, and probably Kurt would still be alive.
Oh my God.
It's just stuff is just so weird sometimes, like how stuff works out. Mm-hmm. But as a parent, you're always trying to protect your kids from stuff. And I used to watch shows all the time, and the overbearing, the stereotypical overbearing father. It's like, oh man, fuck that guy, But now, like, I'm the father, and I don't think I'm an overbearing father, and there aren't boys knocking on the door yet for
the girls. Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, I talk to the girls, and the girls are like, are you gonna help me find a mate or whatever? I'm like, yeah, man, you got brothers, you got, yeah, definitely, and that's one of the reasons that we have such a I allow the kids to say whatever they want to say. And the way that I parent, because I don't want to be the type of dad. I don't want to be the type of dad who my daughter's like doing all this type of shit behind my back or whatever. So I'm like trying as much as I can to be as open and honest and allow them to say, you suck here, here, and here, and really listen. And that's one of the reasons anybody can call a family meeting, including the kids, if they want to air something out. And we have to stop what we're doing and have a family meeting. Because when I have conversations with Zoe and she says, you know, are you going to help me? I'm like, okay, that's the posture. Like I want the posture of a consultant. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Instead of an overbearing father, because I feel like if I have the posture of a consultant, I've got more of a shot for influence. Because I know myself.
For
like
sure.
my mom, there were certain decisions I made relationship wise that I would not have made if my mom not even would have just backed off.
Oh yeah.
If my mom would have just backed off, I would have made a lot of different decisions relationship wise. But because she, you know, there was a conflict around it, then it went from, oh, like I'm in this relationship, mom doesn't like it, it is what it is. It went from that to, oh, I'm gonna stay in this relationship and there's nothing, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to be right, blah blah blah. So it's pretty hectic being a father, man. Holy moly.
Yep.
Holy moly.
I did the same thing though. You know.
What do you mean?
My father said something negative about the guy. I was like, word? Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it goes.
Like you have to know. There are some kids, like I think that you can tell just by looking at your kid. Like my sister was the type that was very influenced by my father, and if my father said that's a bad choice, honey, she would have been more likely to say, oh, okay, and steer away from it, unless it was something she really, really wanted to do. But if it was just something that she was kind of doing because she was bored, she would have stopped if he said it was no good. Not me.
Right.
You know? Not me. We didn't have that type of relationship.
What about your mom? If your mom would have said, this is not a good guy.
Oh, that would have been very interesting.
You don't know what you would have done.
No, because my mother was... You know how I am, like, with teenagers? I find them so interesting and entertaining.
Yes.
So, my mom was like that. Like, she just always would see, like, the cute side of them. So, she...
Of them? Of you guys? Of teenagers?
The teenage
Or the
boys.
guys that you were with?
Yeah, the teenage guys that I was around. Like, she just... I mean, there was, like, some that they would be... She'd be like, yeah, that's a no-go. But I wasn't trying to go with that person anyway, so it was obvious. But anybody that I had any interest in, she always was, like... very quick to build a relationship with that person, which is smart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your mother should give a master class in maintaining that kind of relationship with your significant other. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I feel about this song as far as rating it, because I really enjoyed it, and the previous song was pretty short.
Yep.
And so it hurt the rating, but I feel like because of the context, it's 1989, it's probably like their first record, and you know, this is proto Nirvana. I'm going to give it a solid 9.2.
I gave it a 9.
You did?
Yep. You're always a little smidge above me.
There you are, dear listeners. So the moral of the story is, if you're a dad, you're doomed, bro. I mean, that's really not much.
No. If you're a dad, then listen to your kids when they talk about the most boringest things, because that means they're also going to talk to you about you got to keep that open communication.
Boringest is not a word.
Yeah, I know, but whatever. Like, you get the idea. The stuff that you don't want to listen to, sit and listen to them, because it's interesting to them, and you'll find out things about them. And if you take a genuine interest in your kids when it's a boring topic, then it's not going to look weird when you're all of a sudden asking them questions about their interests.
There you are, dear listener. Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Down. Something in the universe exploding is a miracle that has definitely been repeated. No, Ant. The Big Bang is not something in the universe exploding, right? The Big Bang is the origin of everything that we see. You're saying that you believe that an explosion then resulted in an ordered universe. So what I'm saying is, how many times has that been observed and repeated? First of all, as far as observation goes, you believe the Big Bang existed or the Big Bang happened, but you've never observed it and it's never been repeated. So those violate the first two principles of the scientific method, no? Has anyone seen the documentary Soaked in Bleach? Yes, we did see the documentary Soaked in Bleach. The universe is not ordered. Okay, Ant. The universe isn't ordered. The distance that we are between the the Goldilocks thing. Have you heard about that? How we're perfectly aligned as far as distance from us to the sun, et cetera, et cetera. Let's forget about the universe. The Big Bang produced the Earth, right? And it also produced the cells in your body, which are absolutely ordered. So again, you didn't observe that happening, and it's never been repeated, and you believe it happened, right? Isn't that true? Kurt's daughter changed his life, but Bean couldn't save him. Whoa. That's deep.
What happened? Your
kids aren't going to save you. That's a good part. You can find order if you assume it exists. No, Ant.
Super chat up there too.
Ant, no. No. Let's not do that, bro. Come on, man. Your body is an ordered machine. You know that. Your brain's communicating to your lungs. Your brain's communicating to your heart. Your heart is delivering nutrients and blood all over your body to your organs. And let's not even talk about what's going on at the cellular level, where atheist biologists have literally called them machines and assembly lines and turbines. That's order. Let's not do that. So again, Ant, please answer the question. You've never seen the Big Bang happen. It's never happened again. So it's not observed and it's not repeatable. Do you believe the Big Bang happened? Yes or no?
We got a super chat. Just George. Hey, y'all, I'm George, and I've been watching your content since I was 18 in high school. I'm 22 now, and I'm glad that both of you still make content. Now that I have a stable job, I'm hoping to support you more. Keep rocking. Aww.
Is that a cat?
What's that? What do you mean? It's a... Oh, you mean in the picture? I can't see.
What is that in the picture, George? Scary. I'm like hesitating because this is our last song, right?
Yes, and originally he said he was taking this one off the list because it didn't fit with the lineup, but he said we'll just do it as a bonus part. So bonus. So thanks, George.
And shout out to the big homie Ant. Again, in theory, I think the most supported theory already answered this. Yeah, but Ant, you're not getting the point. The point is, you were saying that repeatability would be evidence for the resurrection, but you believe in the Big Bang, and there's no repeatability or observation there. So what I'm saying is your standards of evidence are inconsistent. Secondly, the Big Bang is a much bigger miracle than the resurrection because Jesus was already alive, and all we're saying is that he was restored back to life. What you have to say is that there was no life. All there was matter. An explosion, a random explosion happened, and somehow out of that matter came life and consciousness. That's a bigger miracle than a resurrection. Because what we're saying is we already had a living conscious being who lost it and regained it. What you're saying is life and consciousness came about without a previous principle of life and consciousness, which is impossible. We've never seen that happen ever. We've seen people be clinically dead and come back from the dead, but we've never seen life come from non-life, and we've never seen consciousness come from non-consciousness. So the Big Bang and the resultant scientific theories as to what happened after that is a much bigger miracle than the resurrection. And you believe in that without observation or repeatability. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't prove or disprove anything. It just means that for some strange reason, our standards of evidence are inconsistent. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So
Ant. I'm gonna ask you this question one more time. Will you agree with me that you've never seen the Big Bang happen that we know of? If you agree with that, then your standards of evidence for the resurrection have to be augmented, right? Okay, Jambi. Okay, Ant. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we agree. We're good. Okay, thank you. The Big Bang, a calculable and observable miracle. Oh, it's a miracle? It's a miracle. Is it a miracle, Jambi? Huh. Okay, well, I'll agree with that. I disagree that it's observable. None of us can observe the Big Bang unless you're saying you're 13.77 billion years old. Now, you've said a lot of crazy stuff, Jambi. You've said a lot of crazy stuff. But that, if you're saying that you're 13.7 billion years old so that you could observe the Big Bang, holy moly. All right, we got one more song. No more stalling on my part. What's the name of this last song, babe?
Okay, so this one is
DJ
Senses.
Mark, I don't want to leave this stream. He did so good on these selections, man. Holy shit.
I know. Senses Fail, The Path is the name of the song.
Okay, Senses Fail, The Path. Have we ever done a Senses Fail song?
I'm not sure.
You know what?
What?
Oh,
Pulling
okay.
up the lyrics.
Yeah, let me try to find a lyric video. This should be
Path,
interesting,
Senses
guys.
Fail. Ooh, look at that album cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Looks like something Kai would do.
I can't find the lyric video, so we're not going to do the lyric video. But never you fail. Okay, put that on mute.
Okay, so we are about to go into that one. I think you did one somewhat recently, Neil said, that was a Senses Fail. I thought we had, yeah.
Oh, okay, so we've done some Senses Fail. Okay.
Jambi informed Ant that you can't reason with the unreasonable.
Yes, the things that I've been saying are completely unreasonable. Now, if I were to ask Jambi, if I were to say, Jambi, tell me what I said in this back and forth with my brother Ant that was unreasonable. Tell me what I said that was unreasonable. He's not going to say anything. Because this is Jambi. Shout out to the homie. And you make sure you're nice to the homie.
So, I guess Mark has requested Senses Fail before because he feels like they don't have enough reactions. You know what? Honestly, Mark, bands are so lucky to have fans like you.
I know.
That will say, you know what? I think that this band is good enough where they should have reactions done for them. So I think that's great.
I know. Vin, you don't get it. It's completely normal for things to just come into existence ex nihilo. Happens all the time. Completely normal. Right. And then for them to be unguided and create indiscernible molecular level machines and turbines that have assembly lines that go in in opposite
Forward
directions
and
to form a loop for one little cell. All those things happen unguided. You got the best minds on the planet trying to create, and the best we can come up with is a pacemaker for the human heart. But that just came about, no design, no nothing. Okay. All right. Dodging of direct questions posed. What? See, I was right. There's Jambi saying that I dodged a question. So that's me being irrational, even though my interlocutor said, I don't believe Vin is unreasonable. But there's Jambi. And just to close it out, what happened was somebody said there was no evidence for the resurrection. I said, what are your standards of evidence? The person refused to answer, right? Because they wanted to create a heuristic where they could say there's no evidence for the resurrection, but then they could say, but then at the same time, he wouldn't give a standard of evidence, so he could always say there's no evidence because he refused to give a standard. My brother Ant said, well, the standard would be repeatability. So repeatability would be a standard according to the scientific method, to which I responded, okay, I'm with that. Observation is part of the scientific method, so is repeatability. The problem is, if you believe in the Big Bang, or if you believe that it's a viable theory, that means you believe in something that you could not have observed and that has not been repeated, and yet you still believe it. So my only point was, so then, considering that the Big Bang is a much bigger miracle than the resurrection, if you can believe that without observation and repeatability, then I'm completely logically consistent to believe that for the same reason. That was the entire point. Jambi is not going to engage in an actual discussion on these topics, and I know that he's not, because I've told him a million times, let's get on cam and let's duke it out, and he refuses to do it, and he'll never do it. But shout out to the big homie Ant, because I get where you're coming from, bro. I totally get where you're coming from. Phrase of the day, idiot dumb. We live in an H.P. Lovecraft world. I am not completely against that, Claire. I am not completely against that. However, the world we're living in right now is pretty awesome because we've got census fail. All right, guys, one last one. Ben,
I'm sorry.
if you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Delusion. Delusion at its best.
For Rich, the topic you were talking about before.
I'll tell you later.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to get an email of somebody crying about Hasmino. All right. This is Census Fail.
The Path.
And I'm actually...
We are at the very last song.
Pretty sad.
For our DJ Mark stream. He has picked a ridiculous list for us. This one, he said, doesn't fit the whole theme that he's been doing all along, but this is a bonus that he wanted in there. So here we go.
Yes.
Census Fail, The Path.
Look, we had a DJ stream. That's where one person pretty much dictates the night, and this was a crazy set list. All of our DJs, by the way, have been badasses, but Mark is out here trying to secure the award of DJ of the month. So I don't know, man. It looks like he's up in front right now. All right, guys. Census Fail, The Path. I've been stalling because I've really been enjoying this night, but everything comes to an end.
Yep.
Let's have fun. Let's go. Where's my lyrics at?
Look in the basement of your heart. There is a light that just went dark. Look through the wreckage to find memory. There is a truth that we all must say.
Oh my gosh.
See the truth, Debbie.
You're waiting for someone to come and save you, but you're afraid to see the truth. The insecurities that you cling to will steal the beauty of your youth.
Whoa!
Comfort to know, take comfort to know that we are reborn together, reborn to follow. So hold on And it takes more strength to move. Hearts burn hard. And it takes more strength to Don't be afraid to stumble and weep. Enjoy the journey even when it's stays.
Yeah.
Just do rise up and reach. Enjoy the journey even when you're passion pushes the urge. Your love of life determine what you're worth. Go now and unlearn. Burn and burn and burn and burn. Look in the basement of your heart. There is a light that just went dark. Look through the wreckage to my reverie. There is a truth that we all must sing.
Wow.
Hearts burn on.
Wow. Okay, Mark.
Wooly, wooly,
It's
wooly,
like
wooly,
the theme
wooly.
song for me recently. Wow.
Mark.
This is really- And it does fit in with the whole theme.
Mark. Holy moly. I don't know, bro. I don't know. This guy.
Unbelievable.
This guy. All right. I'm going to let you just roll with this because I know you're chomping at the bit because you've been doing a lot of internal work right now.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Yeah. It was so dead on what he was saying. Like, okay, look in the basement of your heart. There's a light that just went dark. Look through the wreckage to find reverie. Reverie?
Reverie, yeah.
What is reverie?
It's a sort of joy, celebration, that type of thing.
There's a truth that we all must see. You waited for someone to come and save you, but you were afraid to see the truth. The insecurities that you cling to will steal the beauty of your youth. So, obviously, Vin has been an amazing friend to me for literally a lot, 15 years? I don't even know. What
Dorian's 15, so.
Okay, so
13,
12 years?
14 years. Yeah,
14, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been a really awesome friend, and he's so knowledgeable, and he has
Later,
like,
Aunt.
a lot of stuff that he's...
Sorry, Aunt was leaving. Let's say bye to Aunt.
Goodbye.
Bye, Aunt. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
He's been through like a lot of different things, and so he has a lot of knowledge on stuff and a lot of wisdom on things, and I always watched the way that you helped everybody that was around you, and it was inspiring and just beautiful, really, to watch. And then I went through a very difficult point in my life, and you were there, like, helping me through that so much that I think that I got to the point where I just kept wanting... I think I liked the feeling of you saving me. And so I think I always wanted that. Like, I just wanted you to continue doing that.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
not healthy in a relationship. Oh.
I thought it was going to die on us, but the internet kept fighting.
Yes.
We bought a new router, guys. It's fighting through it, inshallah. Keep going. Go ahead.
So that, I think, like, okay, so you waited for someone to come and save you. You were afraid to see the truth. And that's totally how I started being. Like, I just kept wanting you to just come save me in every situation and every mindset that I had and everything that I needed to change about myself. But I was afraid to see the truth about myself and who I am or whatever. The insecurities that you cling to, which I was turning into an extremely insecure person, like all around, like just everything. It was impossible to have any conversations because every time you said it didn't matter what, my feelings would get hurt and I'd feel really sad. And it said it will steal the beauty of your youth. And literally I was feeling old inside, just, but then take comfort to know that we are reborn together, reborn to follow, to hold high young hopes and find what love to find what you love and let the rest all go. And then this song was just so good because its hearts burn on, and it takes more strength to move on. Like, it's just so positive about moving forward, digging up the nails and pulling up the floorboards and facing your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And, you know, Vin and I have said this before. My subconscious is extremely opinionated and strong, and I did not want to face my subconscious. And so it was overtaking my dreams. I kept having the same dreams over and over and over and over. And my mind, like, wouldn't move on from those subconscious dreams because there was stuff that I had to face and deal with that I was unwilling to face and deal with. But then the next part I think is so important, and this has been huge for me. The devil, the sinner, the saint, they're all in our blood. But we must choose the path that we walk on. We get to choose the path that we walk on. Light the flame in your soul and burn on. Because you have to come to terms with your shadow self, your dark self, your evil self. But some people, I think, just focus on like how amazing they are, and they never can focus on the bad. And some people only focus on the bad, and they can never focus on the amazing. And I think we have to have a well-rounded view of ourselves, and that's to see ourselves as much of the truth as what we can. So there are times where you make a bad choice, and there's bad consequences that follow your bad choice. But maybe the reason that you made that bad choice is coming from not necessarily a bad place. It may be some point of insecurity or some thing that happened to you when you were a kid, and that influenced why you did whatever you did in this given situation. But I think we have to recognize, like, okay, well, I did the wrong thing here, and it brought about a horrible result, but it came from another area of weakness that I have to get stronger in. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, I did this shitty thing because I'm a shitty person, and I'm always going to be a shitty person, and it resulted in more crap in my life, and I'm ruining everything. Like, everything is, you can't, sometimes you get up to a point where saying those negative things about yourself almost kind of like feels good, and it is something that you enjoy, and you're not really sure. Yeah, like,
how come?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, like, beating yourself up feels good because you feel like such a shitty person because of the result that you just want to be like, you know what, all around, it's just bad all around. Like, I'm just bad start to finish. There's nothing, there's no hope. And maybe that's because it gives you a reason to not really try to change, because it's like, well, this is where I am.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not really sure because I haven't really done a lot of truth seeking on why that is. But I kind of was finding myself in that place where I was just like negative all the time. And when you hold on to negativity and you just look at everything that's bad, and and even the stuff that's good, you twist it to find a way for it to be bad, then in the end, there's so much bad that, why should you keep on living at that point? It just feels like everything's so bad, you might as well just not. And so it can bring you into a really, really dark place and a really bad place. And you have to make the conscious decisions. I'm kind of reading this book right now that talks a lot about life is, sometimes people just kind of like lay back and just let life hit them like a giant wave and just keep slapping them against the beach. And that's not what life should be. Life is a series of decisions that you make throughout your day, and you choose how that's going to affect you and what's going to happen from that. So there are a whole bunch of things in your life that you cannot control. And those things are going to happen to you. And you can't control it, so you got to just let that go. And what you have to control, and the decision that you have to make, is how are you going to respond to whatever just happened to you? So are you going to just lay on the beach and just let the wave keep slapping you? Or are you going to get up and you're going to try to strengthen yourself to be able to swim in those waves? Yeah. So that's kind of, where I am it says, don't be afraid to stumble and weep. Enjoy the journey, even when it's steep. And I really like that. The mountains teach us to rise up and reach. Enjoy the journey, even when you're weak. It's just really, really good because, there's certain things that I think everybody has that helps them get through the day. And so, we talk about our religion. Some people, not our religion, it's really Jesus. It's like talking to Jesus, prayer with Jesus, and connecting with God. He's the creator of our being, and he's the way that that helps us to get back to that oneness that we need. And I think, some people it's weed, or it's, some medication that they're on, or, a person that they talk to.
A lot of people turn it into a relationship.
It's, well, yeah, exactly. So there's like a lot of things, and I've just been hitting this point where the normal comforts that I go to that are not the Bible and not prayer and not God that I want to go to, I am not allowing myself to go there. I am forcing myself to make positive. Everything has to be about what is the best thing that I can do in a given situation, not what will get me by or what feels the best, but what literally is the best. So I know that sitting and wallowing in self-pity is not the best, and it never brings about anything good. So it's facing the mountain, rising up and reaching the mountain and climbing it, like this song is saying. But it's difficult sometimes, and then in some ways it's a lot easier than wallowing in self-pity. It's the weirdest thing because
did you think that your, physical presentation kind of made it harder for you to see those things? Just because of how you were treated by...
Oh, yeah.
Especially, guys or whatever.
Yeah, because, you said the other day, nobody has told you the truth, Sori. Your entire, people don't tell you the truth. If somebody has a problem with you, they don't say it to you. And shout out to, who you are. You sent me a message and you were like, hey, is there a problem here? And that's something that people don't do with me. And so I was extremely grateful that I got that text message, because we were able to talk about it and see that, things weren't as they, as they seemed, Mm-hmm. And I was very happy about that, because it was true. People don't tell me the truth. They don't do that, and they never have all my life, unless people are really okay, if somebody's jealous of me, they probably said truthful things to me, because now I look back and I'm like, well, yeah, that person kind of said that to me, but I wasn't. But they're coming from a bad, negative place, so I'm like, oh, they're not to be trusted. They're jealous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you were the first person that I was able to say, okay, is there any truth to what you're saying or not? So does that answer the question that
no,
you're asking?
Yeah. And I like watching you. You seem a lot. It seems like you're a lot more hopeful and a lot more grounded. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
You were always kind of 4 feet off the ground,
mm-hmm.
and there were times when you could fly, which is amazing, but you could never get to the ground.
Mm-mm.
And it just looks more and more like getting to the ground, and it's more like everything had the capability for a nuclear fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just one way, right? It's like I tell the boys, if something's going on in a relationship, you're the man, you're the leader, it's your fault, figure it out. So I don't want to have an imbalanced sort of, but the way that I don't have to spend a lot of time now figuring out how I'm going to say or what, because I used to, a month ago, on average in the shower, I'd spend about 40% of it trying to think through how to engage you with stuff,
mm-hmm.
because
it was impossible. It didn't matter what he said. Anything that was not if you said anything positive, I couldn't accept anything positive. And if you said anything negative, even slightly negative, it was devastating for me. It's the weirdest thing. It was completely unhealthy. But I think all of it changed when I didn't really know, I knew that I had to start doing some self-work, but I didn't really know where to start. And the idea of starting it was so overwhelming because I didn't have a starting point. And so now, what I just started doing was I stopped thinking or repeating things inside of my mind that were untrue. So regardless of what it meant, if it wasn't true, I wasn't going to say it, because you get these thoughts in your head, okay, so for instance, if you have to tell me something negative that I don't want to hear, and then I say, I don't just say, let's say it was, just give something stupid, let's say you say, please stop putting your headphones on the desk, which is obviously not something that he would say, but let's say he said, stop putting the headphones on the desk. And it was something he had to keep repeating over and over. And then he gets really frustrated about the headphones being on the desk. And then I say, he's always mad at me. Like, he always finds a reason, like, so headphones are on the desk. And he has to make a big deal about it because he just has to be, you know what I mean? Like, instead of saying, no, that's not true. The truth is he's asked multiple times for the headphones not to be on the desk. And he's tried to find a workaround, but you continue. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, or being like, or the other thing is just to be like, I'm such a terrible person because I keep putting the headphones, even though he asks me not to. I'm such a bad person. I've been bad. And it was just like, so everything was just negative and terrible. And so, and then my mind just kept like spiraling down.
Everything wasn't negative and terrible. Not everything was negative. There's a lot of...
Well, I was seeing stuff as like negative and terrible a lot. And so it was just making, like, I felt so sad all the time because it was just like I couldn't get on top of myself. So now I've just been practicing just what is the actual truth in the situation. And then from there, I'm able to see a lot of other things. How
much is your, the template that you have as a Christian, how helpful is that in embracing your shadow self or being okay with it? Or was it not that at all? It's just you finally just decided, hey, I gotta deal with this, or is there any comfort in the Christian in the sense of, yes, I do this and this bad, but I'm forgiven, or there's grace, or I'll have power to overcome it, or is it more the psychological aspect that's...
No, there's actually a lot of elements to it. So one is, that helps me because I am the type of person where I think about like where I am in relation to other people. And so
sure, Brick.
That verse that says, but we're all sinners. We've all gone out of the way. Like everybody, like if we could say in our...
All we like sheep have gone astray. We've turned everyone to his own way.
Yeah, like we're all shitty people. We all do stuff. So if you're walking around thinking that you're not as bad as the other person, you might not be seeing yourself rightly because you've probably done a lot of things that were horrible in your life. So that was helpful to say, okay, we're all in this situation. And then it was helpful to say, okay, well, if we're all in this situation and God has a fix for it, he's going to help me. And I really, really want to see the truth in all these different situations. So it was just... The other thing, too, is there's a verse that says that God will keep the person at perfect peace whose mind is focused basically on God because the person trusts in God. And so that was something that I've been thinking a lot about. And also there's a verse that talks about that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it. So I'm like, okay, so God is working in me and God has been working on me all of my life and he's bringing about something good in that. So I know that even though this part of my life seems really dark or hard or scary, I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
And this is a difficult part of the journey. But if I trust God and I just keep my mind on him, and that's been really helpful because so fear likes to come up and fear brings with it torment. We've talked about it before. And fear brings with it accusations and thoughts that are not helpful and are negative. And if it was your kid having those thoughts, then you would have a lot more positive stuff to say about it, to say, you don't think like that. It's not good. But because it's yourself, you kind of can make excuses for yourself and just have all these negative and terrible thoughts. And so I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm just going to follow what the Bible says. And the Bible says, that I should just keep my mind on God and that he's working things out. And so then I just started doing that. I started saying, well, I'm going to spend my time thinking about things that are like ideas or thoughts and different stuff that what if this or what if that, like all these possibilities about the world and about my kids and about, I wonder what, like thinking about different verses and mixing it with the scientific stuff that we've been studying and being like, oh, well, there's a scientific explanation for what that verse is meaning, which is different than...
It's very fascinating.
It is.
Like a lot of the changes have come from...
Hoffman's been a big part of it.
Us sitting and just listening to a scientist.
Yeah.
For hours.
Yeah.
And because we did a lot of the investment on the biblical stuff, so we have a lot of that. And then when you combine the science, and then there's some psychology and philosophy
like Legos.
Jordan Peterson, and you've got some psychology and philosophy. Then you're looking into the Stoicism and things like that. And it's cool because the Bible kind of gives us a sort of compass as to, because some of this shit is crazy. You know, like Jung, like once you start really digging into Jung, you're like, okay, this guy was batshit crazy. Like sometimes.
And no.
Like Peterson, I'll tell you offline because it's too fantastical. But it's very, very fascinating because it's like a lot of this has come from scientists, psychologists who are mostly secular. And then we look at the wisdom and then we channel that wisdom through the Bible. And so I don't even think what's happening with you is even replicatable in a lot of Christian churches.
Well, I don't think it is too, because there's a lot of elements to it that go along with my giftings. So because, you know, I've been prophetic a lot of times in my life. So before everything happened, I actually told you that. Remember I said like there was a shift before, but this one was like a wave?
Yeah.
So
you did.
I'm like...
You did, yeah.
That helps me a lot because I'm like, okay, it's a wave, and a wave comes and a wave goes, and you're still okay. It's not a shifting. A shifting is something's going to change. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think it's replicatable in that sense, but I do think positive thinking. It's so funny because a lot of times churches will shit on that idea of like positive thinking,
especially our tradition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Especially our tradition. They you know, mock it or whatever.
Right.
And there's so much in the Bible about the mind.
Right. And I don't think so. Sometimes you see in like movies or something, the person's like in the mirror, they're like, I'm successful, I'm proud, and I'm you know what I mean? Like they say that. And I don't think that just like repeating those phrases is as helpful. I think that it can be a little bit silly sometimes, but at the same time, there is a lot of positive stuff that is biblical, that is true about yourself, that you do that with. You repeat those things to yourself instead, because I guess there's different types of people, and there's some people that don't have a dialogue inside their head. So I guess I'm not speaking to you because I don't know anything about that. It doesn't even make any sense to me how somebody can not have a dialogue going in their head all the time.
I know.
But I'm the type of person, and you are too, where there's a constant dialogue.
100%.
And so my dialogue is oftentimes extremely repetitive if I'm not thinking about things beyond myself, as in ideas or theories and stuff like that. So if I'm not thinking of stuff and trying to figure those things out, then my dialogue is pretty repetitive, and I have allowed my dialogue to get extremely negative. So, and there's a lot of like always and never language. So if somebody does something that really grates on me, then I'm like, wow, they always do that. Even though they don't always
we worked on disempowerment language too, defeater statements too.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I'm also hearing a lot less of those from you.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because right now there's a lot of room for self-pity and other things, and you're maintaining. Yeah. And it's pretty incredible to watch. So Jambi said, are they doing a review, or they're talking about their delusions? Jambi, this song, my brother, is about self-improvement.
Right.
And Sori was sharing with the community where she's at in her journey. Okay? And she's a Christian, so God is a part of that. She's married to me, so I'm a part of that. She's a mom, so the kids are part of that.
Yeah.
And she's got a very, very curious mind, so scientists, psychologists, and philosophers are part of that. All of these are things that God has given us to get us back to Him. So, Jambi, I don't know specifically what pain or whatever happened to you or whatever, and I'm being dead ass serious right now, bro. I don't know exactly what happened to you, right? But I do want to let you know that I'll definitely be keeping you in my prayers, because something obviously is off with you, right? Yeah, it's been really cool to watch it. The song, anytime somebody writes a song like this, it's a little bit like risky because people are like, oh, you're preachy, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, there's a lot of my life sucks, things are horrible, things are bad in metal. And I think that those are also important because you got a lot of people who will never recognize that they're in actual pain.
Yep.
So from that, like when I first discovered Korn and, you know, Jonathan, you know, the first time I heard Daddy, I was up in my room and it was completely dark. Me and my best friend had just went to a party, and it was obvious that we were just too different now, because we had gotten into metal and, you know, we had gotten into the subculture, but then we still had old friends from our previous life, we used to say. So we got invited to this house party, or this girl, Katina, that I, you know, whatever. But we were at the party and it was just like so clear we didn't belong there. And we tried, and we just kind of, and we never talked about it. I knew what he was thinking. He knew what I was. We never talked about it, and we never did that again. But I remember that was the night I went home, and it was sad, you know, because on the one hand, like, you're going into a new subculture, because we had people in Manhattan that were metalheads and all that. And so we kind of found our tribe. But on the other hand, it was like, these are people that we were never gangbangers, but these are people that fought with us side by side. These are people that stood up for us. These are the people we stood up for. You know, so it was very, very hard. And it was weird because it wasn't like a get out of here, like everybody, oh, Vin, Sharif, but like but it was just clear that. So anyway, I'm listening to Daddy, and Jonathan is crying, and I just cried but I wasn't crying for the same reason Jonathan was crying. But, you know, I just knew, like, that part of your life is over, and you're a kid. Wow. You're 15, 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? But you just knew, like, that's over. And so, so there's a lot in metal where, like, yeah, you do have that cathartic release, but there's got to be. I remember one time I was looking at a message board, because that's what I used to do after I discovered Korn. Is I used to go to these AOL chats. We used to go to the library because we didn't have the internet at my house. So we would go to the library, and you could check out a computer for an hour. And if there was nobody in line, you could refresh your little card, and you got 3 of those things. So I remember I was just out there typing blah blah blah, and then I was talking about, oh yeah, Korn's the best, blah blah blah, and everybody was like, yeah, Korn. And then this one, it was a woman, and she said, yeah, but when is it time to heal? Yep. And I was like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. But that line never, ever left me, ever.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting.
It was one random line on an AOL message board. I'm certain that she has no idea, but that stuck with me for the rest of my life, that line. When is it time to heal? And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. And so you need songs like this in metal. Like, you need the cathartic, you need the pain, you need all that. Yep. But you also need somebody that can say,
it's time now.
You know, it's like, I forgot the name of it. It was Angelina Jolie and Whoopi Goldberg. And I forgot the name of the movie, but they're in a mental ward. And there's one scene where she's in the bathtub and Whoopi Goldberg is there as her, like, you know, handler, you know, psychologist or whatever. And Whoopi's like, she's in the bathtub, and then Whoopi's like, okay, like, you got a session in 5 minutes, so let's go. And then Angelina goes, well, okay, help me out. And she says, you get out. And obviously that was the metaphor, is a metaphorical device of get yourself out of that. But the tub was warm. You see? And, you know, I say this all the time, like, back in the day, like, when I'd have a problem, and you see that I have a problem, and you're like, why are you react? Because I'd react like, yeah, whatever. And I'd always used to say, oh, this is like a warm bath. This is like a warm bath for me, like, living like this, like, dealing with this situation. And some of it was out of my control because, you know, it was coming from a certain person, but some of it was, you know, I had acclimated myself mentally to these situations as a defense mechanism, but now I'm in a situation where, yeah, obviously, you know, it's not perfect, but there's a lot of times when God's like, you don't need to do that. You're not in that situation, so you don't need to do that. And so that's one of the big things I was really, really working on last 6 to 8 months. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing, man. Really good song.
This part, I gotta say this one too.
Yeah.
He says, right here.
Girl interrupted. Sorry. Girl interrupted.
Passion pushes the urge. Your love of life determines what you're worth. Go now and unlearn and burn, burn, burn.
Yeah.
And I just really like that because there is a sense in which you have to learn new things, but there's also unlearning that has to take place. And you have to unlearn the things that were not helpful. But if you can unlearn them, then you can have them in your mind so you can help somebody else. So, I was like that, but then you know what I'm saying? I backed away from that because it's not. And I'm doing that a lot with, we have one kid that he loves self-pity. He is an amazing, amazing kid, and he will blow your mind with the things that he says. But that is one of his weaknesses, is self-pity, 100%. And it gives him an incorrect view of situations because he'll only look at it through the lens of his self-pity. And so I've been talking to him about broadening that and blah blah blah, and it was really interesting because today
really good with it.
He said he brought up a situation, but he didn't only talk about his discomfort in the situation. He talked about who else was uncomfortable in the situation, which was huge for him. And I called it out right away when I saw it, and I said, that is you. Oh, that is really good, because I could see that he's been trying. So it's showing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, it's really it's an enterprise now in the house. Like, there's a lot of folks that are really like, we got to get a couple more in, but there's a lot of focus now on self-improvement.
Absolutely.
In the house.
Absolutely.
And everybody's like holding themselves accountable to it, and it's a great thing. And it's hard, but I really feel like everybody can do it. I just feel like we have an advantage because there's an already created template of, you suck, you made a mistake. So you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to fear looking at the dark regions of your heart.
Yep.
I'm not worried about anything I see if I look at myself.
Yep.
At all.
Yep.
And I remember one time I was all beating myself up about something, and God said to me, "That's what you're upset about." He's like, "Listen, little bro, there's things in your heart that are much worse than that I won't show you, because you won't get out of bed if you know that they're real." Mm-hmm. And so my thing is, I'm worse than what I think I am. So beating myself up is a useless enterprise. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not qualified to beat myself up.
Right.
I'm not qualified to beat myself up because I don't know all the information about myself.
Yep.
It's like you go into some, I was watching Kevin Samuels, and this woman was talking about how she observed with her parents, and so she's not going to be like her mom. And Kevin Samuels was like, "What the hell do you know about it? You were a kid." Mm-hmm. You have a child's perspective on what's going on. You don't have all the information. She's like, "Well, I know what I saw." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Yeah, and now you're a grown woman, and have there been things between you and your mate that your kids saw that weren't real?" And she's like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Okay, so you don't have all the information to make that determination." Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have the information about myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I do half the shit that I do. And neither do you, by the way. That's why there's an entire industry called psychology that makes billions of dollars a year. Nobody knows why they do the shit they do.
Yep.
Paul said, listen, all these people were accusing him of shit, and he says, "Listen, I'm not aware of anything that makes me guilty, but that doesn't mean I'm innocent. Mm-hmm. Let's just leave it for the Lord to judge." So I don't judge myself, because I'm not qualified to judge myself. I'm just told to love people, and I'm a people. So God didn't tell me to judge myself. He didn't tell me to judge Jambi. Jambi's out there flailing and all the rest of it. He claims he hates religion and all this, and he thinks it's all silly. But he's been hanging out for 2.5, 3 years. Mm-hmm. So he's a very complex guy. You can't look at it's so crazy. Like, people look at somebody from the internet, and now all of a sudden they know them.
Look, he said, "Love me, Vin."
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Like, now all of a sudden you know a person because you saw them on the internet. Get out of here. You've been living with yourself for 33 years. You don't even know yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, anyway, good stuff. This was a little extra long review. Shout out to Aaron Lee. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Tasco. Shout out to Jambi, obviously.
And thank you, DJ Mark. This song...
DJ Mark, man.
Okay, I'm going to have to actually give this one an 11 because... Yeah, this one is like literally the theme song of my life right now. And this cover, I love it because it looks like there's all this darkness around, there's fog and everything, but coming through is this burning light.
Yeah.
And that is just...
That's got to be the screen cap.
Yeah, that's just... Whew. And he said, too, something about... where's the light? Okay, you know what? I'm going to just use your thing.
Yeah, man. DJ Mark tore it up. Everybody knows it, man. Everybody knows it. DJ Mark, I believe in the goodness of humankind, but our disconnection of the nature and life has made us what we are now. I'm probably more delusional than Vin and Sori. Yeah, good stuff. Holy shit, this is. I'll give this an 11.
Yeah, it's just,
and it was just massively timely. Mark,
you have no idea.
Holy shit, man! Mm-hmm. What a collection of songs, Mark. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, we've been around for 4.5 hours, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, 3.5.
Honey, remember the stream collapsed
before
you were on for an hour. It's 2:00 on the dot. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Juan. Shout out to Mark. DJ Mark, I don't know, man. Look, we got a couple more DJ streams to do. I'm looking at the board. But
I have more than that I have to. I'm waiting for responses.
This is gonna be challenging to top this one. Yeah. Shout out to DJ Mark. He absolutely killed it. Here we go. Bang. Bang. And then bang.
Okay, so 11 for me. You want to sign out?
Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Gone. Shout out to the big homie Jambi. I cannot wait till you to get saved, bro, and get rid of all that bitterness.
Yeah.